seems that Destiny 3 is in fact coming, and I hate to say it, but no, I actually like saying this. I told you so. I told you guys that Destiny 3 was an almost guaranteed future for Bungie. I didn't really see another path for them, but the real question is, are they the ones that have decided to do Destiny 3, or is this more of a symptom of PlayStation sort of unceremoniously kicking the door in, as they've indicated in previous earnings calls, not only that there's been a $200 million impairment loss on the valuation of Bungie as a company, but it seems they are now in a takeover stance and probably calling the shots. So I'm going to end the previous stream. We did morning coffee this morning. That's a great reason to be a member over here on YouTube. You can be a part of those shows and those sort of early morning hangout sessions. We appreciate everybody that was there for that. Now, I have an upload on the channel already where I basically argue that Destiny 3 was inevitable. And I walk through 6 reasons as to why I think that is. But something else I really didn't include in that video is sort of the factor of PlayStation in this scenario and why I think it's probably going to be a scenario where PlayStation called the shots here and said, listen, we want live service. This is what we want. There's no way we can justify the size of your studio and keeping it open and funding it and paying salaries, operational costs higher than most of the studios that PlayStation probably owns. They can't really justify that if you're not working on some significant project. And that significant project is definitely not Marathon. I don't think so. I think it's going to have to be something like a Destiny 3. And PlayStation obviously has big aspirations and goals for live service games. They want those live service dollars, and they know how much money they can make because they've seen behind the curtain of revenue with games like Gran Turismo 7, MLB The Show, Helldivers 2. They're likely to see that with Marvel Tokone Fighting Souls, that, hey, you can make a lot of money with ongoing games, and they own Bungie, so they know how much money that game has made over the course of its life cycle, which means they probably want more of it. And the real question would be, at what point did they level with the audience? At what point did they say, listen, we're no longer going to be able to deliver a cadence of content to Destiny 2. We've got to drill down and focus on Destiny 3. I think a new engine is in order. I think new development suite of tools is in order. I think they'd probably have to bring in maybe even talent from the other studios. I had people leaving comments on my video, and they're like, look, man, Bungie's lost their way. Hand Destiny 3 to somebody else. Hand it to another studio. Well, the problem with that is you don't necessarily have another studio that's equipped to suddenly shoulder that burden, to take on that size of a project. I mean, Bungie has the institutional knowledge. They have the data. They have the teams. They have the infrastructure to build it. What I really think they need is better leadership. It's like a really, really good construction crew with a terrible foreman. It's like you've got good people that can, frame and build and put up drywall and paint. And you have all the people that can do all those things to build a really great house, but you have an idiot in charge. It isn't going to amount to much. And I feel like one of the lead idiots is gone. Pete Parsons is out of the building, thank goodness. I think he was one of the worst things to happen to the company. And if some of the other leadership gets walked out of the building, maybe they'll get walked out of the building right before the holidays, since Bungie likes to lay people off right before the holidays. Maybe they could get some of their own medicine this year. And then PlayStation can basically restructure and build a great game. You need people with good vision and good ideas. And honestly, you need morale to get out of the toilet. And if they can do that, then I believe a studio of this size, with the experience that they have, I think they could build an amazing Destiny 3. What they're going to have to do is not do what they did with Destiny 1 to Destiny 2. You can't be maintaining a game while building the next one. I think that's almost impossible to do well. It's impossible to execute at an excellent level if that's what you're doing. So what they're going to have to do is go dark. You got to go dark, and you got to build Destiny 3 and nothing else. Now, that probably means that Marathon falls by the wayside as well, which I don't think anybody's going to cry over that spilled milk. I mean, there's a small portion of the internet that still thinks that game has a shot. By and large, most people are not in agreement. They think that game's a non-starter. I feel like I'm on the right side of this issue. If I get proven wrong and Marathon gets out of the gate and ends up with a decent player base, I'll buy an edible hat and eat it on stream. I just don't see that happening. And I honestly don't think Bungie would be able to live off of that money anyway. They need something far bigger. So even if Marathon survives for a year or so and they have a small team assigned to it, I still don't think that's going to be enough to warrant their size. They're going to have to go dark. They're going to have to stop supporting Destiny 2, and they're going to have to build Destiny 3 and bring out a trailer in 5 years for next gen. Bring out something to just wow everybody as we're sort of going in to the next generation of hardware. So those are my very brief, unscripted thoughts this morning. The more I've thought about it, the more I saw your comments. It's a great reason to comment. It's a great reason to be here early. You can submit questions. It's a great reason to be here early. You can submit questions to the question command, and then we can have the question sort of shown here on stream. And I'm going to get everything set up for the day. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody. Make sure you're going through that ritual on YouTube of smashing that like button. My producer says he's Googling edible hats. I'm here to tell you, I think I'm going to dodge that bullet. I really, really don't think that that game has a shot. I don't. And I've got some people to thank. YouTube's trying to get things started over here. They're a little bit behind Morning Coffee. We had a 100 bomb from Flyers over there on Twitch because there's a 35% discount on gifted bundles for the next couple of hours. And Arthur Torres gifted one over here on YouTube. And then Dan Renews for 51 months. Good morning. Hope you had a good trip. Glad to have you back. Thank you, Dan. I can only count renewals on YouTube if it's Member Plus and above, so consider upgrading if you can. If you can't upgrade, continue enjoying that gifted membership. And then Wired Rope's going to drop a 5 bomb over there on Twitch. Thank you so much, Wired Rope. My uncle just had me start Destiny 2 10 years late, sadly. Do I need to know or understand anything already for Destiny 3? Destiny 3 is so far away. Get whatever you can out of Destiny 2. Get whatever you can. Destiny 3 is years away at this point. And I'm here to tell you, it's their only course. It's their only course of action. I've said this for a while. I got a lot of disagreement. I'm like, I don't know what else you expect Bungie to do. They're too big. You either bust them up into smaller studios and have them work on a bunch of other stuff, or you get them to build Destiny 3. And you guys make sure and submit your questions, with the question command in chat, or, !Q, the letter Q, and then type your question. And then it'll get grabbed by Nightbot. I'll pull those questions up in a moment. There's already 6 questions in the queue. They're making the same mistakes as Vanilla D2 when they first went independent. I don't trust this team to make D3. I think we're in a different scenario if PlayStation kicked the door in. If PlayStation gives them the time, to build a great game. The problems that we always encountered were they didn't have enough time. Destiny 1 was delayed a year, chopped up, and it, barely gets out the door. Destiny 2 launches, and they're trying to maintain both games. That doesn't work. It's official. It's about as official as it could be, 187. 2 very reliable Destiny leakers have said Destiny 3 has entered early production. Basically, they're probably sketching what would it be, where would they go, how would they do the story. Do they need to... I think they need to switch engines. What's good, Feed? I see you in the chat. Destiny 3 is too much of a risk. I can see Destiny 1 remake over a brand new Destiny game. I don't agree with that. No. I think there would be so much stigma around, oh, you guys are finally going to do something and you're going to do a remake of the first game? Are you crazy? We get a D1 remake as a stopgap. I'm more inclined to believe you'd get some kind of a remake, or they said like a classic D2 or something. As a stopgap. I agree. I don't think that the next big project would be a remake. I think that would be a huge mistake. PlayStation wants those live service dollars. They want those live service dollars. If you guys are watching on YouTube, take a quick second and hit that like button. I was watching some videos on YouTube, and man, we crush it with the likes. We do so well compared to a lot of the content out there. So, Johnny Always with a Prime in 54 months over here on Purple, 163. We're having a nice bounce back. We didn't hit the goal before I went out of town, and then I was gone for a week. So we could certainly go a little crazy this week, and it would be very, very welcome. I appreciate you guys and what you do for the stream here. It's worse than that. The downfall of Bungie will be categorized as a death by 1,000 cuts, sunsetting, DCV, poor storytelling, bugs on bugs on bugs, huge misses on content. I wonder if it's just the way of the road. to quote the poet Tim the Tatman, I wonder if it's just the way of the road. Like, is this where all games end up when you go this long? Do you just end up here? You run out of ideas. You run out of ways to reinvigorate the game. You run out of ways to, like, capture new people or recapture far, long gone people. Like, I wonder if you're always going to land where they've landed. It was a long week. I had to watch AI slot videos. Well, I'm so sorry that you had to watch that. I am back. No trips for a while. Earliest we might do a trip is sometimes we try to do Florida like late Jan, early Feb or something. But all of December we are here. Except, of course, for Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. Snake eating its tail. Right. Yeah, I mean, I just, again, is it something unique to Bungie? Or is it just you eventually end up here? Warframe seems to be doing fine, and it's been around longer than Destiny. Would you say that for all the years that Warframe has been around, it has hit the same highs that Destiny did? I'm asking. I'm actually curious. Yo, it's good, Agent Atwood. Good to see you back, my man. Like, would you say that the entire time that Warframe has been out, it's hit the same highs that Destiny has? Destiny has some pretty great moments, starting with The Taken King, Rise of Iron, Age of Triumph, Forsaken. I mean, there's a lot of moments in Destiny 1 and 2 that are considered to be pretty dadgum amazing. Size and scope of the game, the content, I don't know. I don't know if Warframe has ever been at the threshold of Destiny, which the higher you fly, the farther you can fall, to be fair. I mean, that's, I think, part of the issue here. It's like when a really, really good player in a sport has a bad night. That's all anybody talks about. Nobody talks about the mediocre player who had an off night. They talk about the guy who's always putting up triple doubles, and you're like, what the frick was this guy's problem tonight? As high as Destiny flew as a live service game, when they start to tumble, it's noticeable. It's like, yeah, they're failing. If Warframe has an off 6 months or an off year, is anybody talking about that? I'm no shade to Warframe. Respect, long-standing game, very satisfied consumer base. But, like, if they have an off year or a bad piece of content, I don't hear about it. I don't think they fly as high. I think they're more steady and more consistent, as is being pointed out. They've got a consistent 200 to 300,000 range of players. But, if that's the case, then comparing the two seems to be not that informative. I'm just asking the question, do all live service games eventually get to this point where you're just out of ideas? And you can't reinvigorate the game again. Thank you, Petrov, for 10 months. Here's one for YouTube, and nice to have you back. Thank you so much, Petrov. We're at 164 on the week already. I'm not sure what this person's doing. Let's just give him a little timeout there. I think I can't tell if it's a bot or not. They just keep typing hi with a bunch of eyes. Destiny said this is the end of the story, and then they said, but there's more. I'm sorry, I've already reached my emotional denouement. Denouement. I'm not familiar with that word. They got to reset at some point. Vix Vapor with 13 months over there on purple, putting us exactly 10 members away from the next milestone. Thank you so much. We'll see who decides to steal it. YouTube, you couldn't get any of the milestones earlier. Twitch was taking full advantage of morning coffee. So we'll see. Can't see how a Destiny 3 is going to be different from a Destiny 2. Existing players, even those who left at final shape, are going to expect all 6 existing subclasses and how many new unique exotics they can make. Denouement? Anyway, listen, no French, okay? Quit putting French in the chat. This is I speak American, all right? It's the French term for the resolution at the end of the story. Yeah, okay, we've... The only thing French I like is French fries, okay? For real, though, quit typing other languages, Zubair. Silver Subaru with 58 months. Thank you so much for the VIP. I almost forgot about this. Hope you had a great trip and everyone is doing great. Keep up the good work. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I want to address what Gail Winforce said. That, like, you're not going to bring people back and they're going to expect all the subclasses and blah, 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 blah. I think if you go dark for 4 years and you drop a teaser trailer for Destiny 3, and then it comes out like, a year later. So 5 years. You go quiet. I don't think people come to it with all these expectations of like, I better have all my stuff and I better have all my subclasses. American isn't a language. I know. It's a joke. It was a joke. It's going to be a long day, chat. If we have to explain that I speak American is a joke. It's going to be a long one, boys. Anyway, a member plus from Warhog. Good morning, sir. Hoping the family had a great Thanksgiving. Thank you so much for 25 months. Let me add you to the total. And then Elohim with 5 months. I don't have any faith in Sony pulling this off. And then Raphael with a gifted comes in. Boom. Gets us to 168. Thank you so much, Raphael. And here's the thing. Did he just insult my freedom? He did. I think the thing that people have to realize is that Sony doesn't need to do anything other than restructure leadership and then get out of the way. They are historically very hands-off. Now, some would argue maybe they're a little bit too hands-off, which is potentially why they now have a live service, structure to analyze if a game's going to make it or not. I don't really know why they haven't done that with Marathon, because I think Marathon's DOA, but maybe Marathon is just too close to the ship date, and they're like, we might as well try, right? So the point is that I think PlayStation's really hands-off. So I think as long as they restructure the leadership and get out of the way, Bungie has so much institutional knowledge, so much infrastructure, and so many teams. You just get out of the way. Get a good leadership team in there. Get the morale turned around, and build a great game. PlayStation doesn't even need to be involved. They just need to supply the money. They don't go in and meddle with games that we've been playing this gen. Like, they didn't go in and meddle with Returnal or Ratchet or God of War or Horizon or Spider-Man. PlayStation's like, no, just make a great game. We're not going to get in the way. Now, when something isn't viable or they don't think something's going to be, worth the continued investment, they cancel. But you have to consider something. Yo, Grubby, thank you for 21 months in a VIP. Let me add you to the total. And another one coming in from Crusadis Gaming says, any thoughts on what gamer DLC gets shadow dropped at the Game Awards? I don't have any guesses, my friend, but we're 5 bomb away from 175. Whoever hits it gets it. I'll owe your platform a membership. So, do they have institutional knowledge? The original teams aren't there when they fired a bunch of people? Okay, so that's a sweeping claim. Do you have any proof of what you've said, Broken Earth? The original teams aren't there. I don't think that's true. I don't think that's true. They fired a bunch of people. Yeah, they mushroomed up to like 1,200 employees, and now they've shrunk back down to like 800 to 1,000. How do you know that means that all those people are gone? Where's the evidence that, like, yeah, all the people that know how to build a great Destiny are gone? Homie, there are still over 800 employees, and a 5 bomb comes in from Mr. Low Grade, boom, and secures the 175. There you go, he says. I owe Twitch a member. Guys, there is 2.5 hours left of a 35% discount on Twitch. If you gift a bundle over there, I can't see after gifting, by the way. It like hides the screen. A $5 super chat from the Gaming Ledger. Just showing my support. I appreciate your direct, no-nonsense analysis, even when dubious leakers try to throw you under the bus. Listen. Let them. That's my attitude now. Let them. Truth always wins. I'm testimony to that. All right? The last 5 years has proven that truth has way more endurance. So, let them. The guy who designed subclasses has been Marin Cool Sounds in Destiny Vidox for the last 5 years. Oh, has been making cool sounds. Yeah, like what this is the thing. This is the thing. Like I don't think there's I don't feel like there's concrete evidence that like, yeah, all the people are gone that know how to make Destiny. Wow. You really? They're all gone? Where did they go? Do you know a lot of the people that got fired and laid off during that one round of layoffs, they were like community managers, community team members. Some of them had not been there for very long. Like, you can go check me on this. Go check Twitter. Check the people that were being let go. They weren't like gutting entire teams and being like, well, here's all the people that designed the guns for the last 10 years. Get them the heck out of here. Like, do you see what I'm saying? I don't think there's evidence to the claim. There's a ton of Forsaken talent working on Renegades. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's so sweeping to be like, they can't do it anymore. All the people are gone. What? Okay, where's the evidence for this claim? Now, I've not been following Bungie super close, but that's a pretty big thing to claim about a studio that size. To be like, yeah, they can't do it anymore. Everybody's gone. Homie, they still over 800 employees. They're a gigantic company, comparatively, especially. Like, if you look at other studios, Bungie is big still after all this time. If you ain't 1,000 by next week, you will be. Hey, appreciate it. We were popping on Twitch before I went out of town. We always slip a little bit. It's nothing to worry about. Anytime you go out of town, you're gonna lose a little momentum. You're hoping for a new IP from Sony, from Bungie. I get that. I do. Parasito says Sony needs to give money, corporate leadership, and core tech support. Many old big engine devs and engineers are gone, but they're also behind the needs a new engine problem. What's exactly on the nose, Paris? Like a bullseye, an absolute bullseye. If one of the biggest problems with Bungie is the old uniforms, the old guard, all their dumb nicknames that they have for themselves. Like, get them the heck out of there. And these people that are like, we can't build in a new engine. I tell you what you can't do. You can't build a live service game in Tiger anymore. I don't think so. It takes them way too long to spin up content and to spin up changes. You can say the engine's not archaic all you want. It takes them too long. Way too long. A 2-spot from the Gaming Ledger. I'm interested in what team LFG is assigned. They got Gummy Bear, didn't they? Tell me all about these dumb nicknames. I missed that. There has been numerous occasions where people close to and at Bungie have talked about there's like the Good Old Boys Club or the Good Old Boys Club or the Boys Club. There's the old uniforms. There's the old guard. I think the old uniforms was actually used by somebody, you know, who streamed on Mixer for a while. I have a screenshot of them wanting to bring back the old uniforms in the Destiny directory. Yeah, how'd that work out? Anyways, but that's the key, is that there's this idea that, like, well, the people that have been here before, you know, the old guard, they're the ones that were ignoring the feedback on Marathon needing PvE. So, like, when we started learning about sort of the dilemma and the problems plaguing Marathon, we learned that people at Bungie were like, you are going to need some kind of a PvE element in this game. And the old guard said no. They were like, no, we don't. You have merch? We have merch on the coffee site, which, guys, if you're coffee drinkers, let me tell you, I was in the grocery store when I was on holiday, and these are 12-ounce bags of coffee for $10.95. This is not white label. We have this flavor matched and roasted and bagged and shipped to me. This is a high grade quality coffee. Our medium and light roast is $10.95 a bag right now. We're working through that inventory, and so you can get coffee from me cheaper than you can get anywhere else. All right, so use the coffee command. Get yourself some coffee. We're going to be stripping everything down to just the dark roast, and that can benefit you. The old guard wasn't just a single discipline. A lot of the writers and artists are still around, but in leadership positions from what I know of. Old talent isn't creating anymore. They're guiding. Embark Studios got the memo. Bungie didn't. You see what's unique about what Embark did. Okay. Creature says Folgers is like $16 a bag. We have premium coffee for $11. You guys can benefit from the sale, seriously. And it supports me directly. Like my kiddos put like a thank you note in the bag. You know, it's a small business essentially that you're supporting when you do that. It's something that we do as just another way of support, and then you get a great product. And thank you guys for 100 likes over here on YouTube. Try to get me to 200 likes. The point is that if you look at Bungie's structure and you look at Destiny and you consider a Destiny 3, the issue isn't, oh, they couldn't figure it out. They don't know what they're doing. I'm telling you, we've learned this about every studio that's had a failure or a problem or a bumble or a misstep. It always comes back to leadership. Think about what it takes to get hired at a place like Bungie. Think about what it takes to get hired at a place historically, like a 343 or whatever. You're not an idiot. You're not a moron. You've got to know what you're doing. They're talented people, but they get under bad leadership. Or in 343's case, they were under bad structure, right? Like the contract thing where people are leaving all the time. That's terrible. But in Bungie's case, you could be one of the most talented devs ever, and you come under bad leadership. What's it matter? There could have been an entire team of people that had incredible ideas for Marathon and PvE, the likes of which could have rivaled Arc Raiders, and they were shut down by dumb leadership. They were like, no, we're Bungie after all. We're going to say that we made a game, from the makers of Destiny and Halo, and that's all we'll need to do. These morons walked out with an alpha and did a showcase on it. Can you imagine anybody else doing that? Imagine Rockstar doing that, showing you like a very rough-edged minimum viable product alpha for like Grand Theft Auto 6 online. You'd be like, what is this? And that's what Bungie did. That's like their level. You guys know I like using the word, but that's their level of hubris. Like they really thought that they could just walk out and be like, we're Bungie after all. So again, it's not a lack of talent. I think it's always come down to leadership over there at that company. Always. Sheer effing hubris. That's exactly right. It always comes back to that. That's the albatross around Bungie's neck. Always has been. They think that they don't stink. Like that's been their problem all this time. It's never not been their problem. It's why they thought they could manipulate the community and manipulate content creators and manipulate the directory. And it all blew up in their dadgum face. Can I buy a bag of hubris? I mean, Bungie would sell it if they could, and they'd give you a pin. Top reply with 32 months. Rent's due. Good morning, y'all. Thank you so much. Let me add you to the total here. And then top reply says, hello, Purple. My man's double dipping over here. He's subbing on both places. The interview with Embark lead dev that was against PvP is eye-opening. The guy gave them a change and was humble enough to realize he was wrong. Oh, he gave them maybe a challenge? Right. Yes. I'm telling you, like, you have... Think about... That's not the only developer this year that said we had to make significant changes and admit that something wasn't right. The folks who made Expedition 33 said the same thing. Welcome back. I missed my 4-hour yap session. Hey, man. I'm back in town, ready to yap. Thank you so much for 18 months. If you guys renew your memberships on YouTube and you want them to count towards this total, consider bumping up to Member Plus. It's $1 more. I hate that this is a thing, but it's a thing. It helps the total. I can't tell the difference. If you're on a gifted, we love you, and we want you to continue getting those gifteds. Stay here, and you'll keep getting it. As long as you're watching, liking, chatting, and lurking, you should get your gifted every month. Who's the guy that came out and said, "This is our game, play it"? And he was like holding a bat. My favorite part about that question, Xanatos, is that you don't remember the game, but you remember the cringe. You're like, who's the guy? He came out and he said, "This is our game, play it." And he was like holding a bat. I'm sorry. I love the way you phrased it. It's like we're all sitting around commiserating as a bunch of old timers. We're like, "You guys remember? That was like this year, by the way. It wasn't even that long ago." Mike on the mic with a gifted member. Thank you very much. That was Splitgate 2, bro. You know what else I hate? I'm just going to say it. I'm going to say I hate it, and I hope you guys hate it as much as I do. I want devs to stop doing it, okay? Saying the F word doesn't make you cool, okay? I'm not trying to be like Puritan Christian guy that's like, "Can you guys not swear?" But it's like, it doesn't make you cool. It doesn't make you edgy to be like, "Hey, our game is coming out, and it's effing awesome. Ooh, he said a naughty word. The game's probably super cool." Man, quit. Just stop it. It's so hello, fellow kids energy. Knock it off. F word, French. Yeah, don't do French words either. Just include them all. You know? Just stop. You look dumb. You can tell that they think they're being so cool and edgy, and it's like, what are you doing? It's 2025. There's a video game where you can have relations with a bear. Like, you're not rattling any cages with an F-bomb. You're just looking stupid. You looking cringe. Okay? I say frick for crying out loud. Like, you're never gonna win anybody over. They're like, "Oh, you said the F word." Oh, anyways, what was I saying? Destiny 3. What is this bear game? Top replies like, "Hello, I'm perked up." It's always cool to use sentence enhancers. That's right. Yeah, come on now. Hang on, I gotta delete some things here. So if you guys haven't hit the like button yet, take a quick second to hit that like button. Now, we're talking Destiny 3. If you guys want to submit some questions, you can. We've got, 7 or 8 questions in the queue. Some of them are old questions, though. So I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I got 6 new questions. Let's get a couple more. All right. I'm sorry your names look weird on YouTube. I don't. YouTube switched that again. I wouldn't make any changes, y'all. They'll switch it back in a week, I bet. You know what I mean? YouTube streamer canceled for not liking the F word. That's right. That's right. I'll be in videos by the end of the week, and they'll be like, "Look at this conservative Christian Puritan hall monitor telling us not to use the F word. F this guy." Just remember to like, share, and subscribe, and stop by the show. Okay, Reforge Gaming. That. Just make sure and include that. You know what I'm saying? I know they never link to the content because they're such upstanding React meta. You know what I mean? At least Asmongold has the decency to link to the video. Yeah. I watch your videos and I love them, but I haven't watched your live streams. Any news on any new leaks of GTA 6? Nothing on GTA other than people claiming it could slip again. Like, it's just respectful to not swear all the time. It's respectful to the stream of other people. Well, yeah, I mean, I obviously don't swear on my streams, but like in the presentations and the Summer Game Fest and the showcases, when somebody comes out and they're like, "Hey, everybody, we've got a game coming out, and F yeah. And you're like, what? Like, what is happening? In any case, the debate on the table is whether or not Bungie could pull off a Destiny 3. Like, weigh in, chat. Take a quick second. Stop lurking. Hit thumbs up on YouTube. Give it a like. And then tell me in chat what you think. Do you think Bungie can pull off a Destiny 3? Yes or no? Do you think they can? Actually, try this. Let's just try this. If you guys want to kind of vote in this on-the-fly poll, I want you to type Destiny 3 yes or Destiny 3 no. All right? I want to know what exactly you're referring to when you say it, so it'll orient me to the chat. So is this a Destiny 3 yes or a Destiny 3 no? Where do you land on this? A Sony-managed Bungie? Yup. Okay. Given enough time? Okay. I have no dog in the fight? Well, then go get one. No, I'm just kidding. Under the right leadership? French? No. That's a good joke, Matt. That's a very good joke, and I like it. I like it. There still isn't anything like Destiny out there. That was one of the points I made in my Destiny 3 is inevitable video, is that, hey, somebody ordered some coffee. Thank you so much, Mile High. He snagged 4 bags of Frickmas. All right, I want you to track this with me now, y'all. He ordered 4 bags of coffee for $52. All right, that's shipping. He's averaging $13 a bag. That's a crazy good deal right now. In this economy with coffee, that's a great deal. Thank you, Mile High. Guys, stock up on the medium and the light roast. Go to reforgeroast.com. I got a lot of Destiny 3 yeses. Destiny 3 yeses. I'm not seeing a lot of no's. I'm seeing an F no from Rogue Necro. Here's what I'll say. I really think people that are saying no, I really do. Pardon my double dip, sir. Thank you so much for 9 months, Mr. Banshee. I appreciate it. And a VIP from a man Mile High. We are exactly a 20 bomb away from 200. We've not had a big member bomb on YouTube yet. YouTube, it's your chance to answer back. Twitch is way out in front. Working through my monthly ritual, doing all the things. Thank you, Mile High. Yeah, Mile High always comes through. He does his membership. He does coffee. I think he even sends a tip. If you guys want to bypass, super chats, bits, and all that, if you prefer to send money directly, you can use the tip command. And he sent me $10. What a guy. Thank you very, very much. You're the man, Mile High. This guy's just doing all the things. Game came out like 10 years ago. Some people joined later on in the game. A new game, a Destiny 3, would allow those players to finally start at the beginning of the game. And a 5-bomb comes in from CrossFit Nerd, and he says, guys, let's Voltron this up. A bunch of 5-bombs will do it. Thank you very, very much. We're 15 away. You have 1,000 hours. A 10-bomb from Mile High. $10 super chat coming in. He says, oh, gosh, I have those stupid chat reactions, those live reactions turned on. My bad, y'all. Let me turn that off. Ugh. I hate that. I am so sorry. I am really sorry. This is not like a talk stream. A tickety talk stream, I should say. And a $10 super chat from Mile High. He says, I've been on break from Destiny for a while now. If they go dark for 4 to 5 years, I would definitely be hyped for a Destiny 3. And Mile High is also going to gift a member, and Bareth Champion's going to do 21 months. He said, I played the OG Destiny for a week, and I never looked back. If it happens, I hope it's good for all those who have been wanting. Let me hit 2 here and get us to 187. Thank you, boys, so much for the renewals and the gifteds. I appreciate it so much. Yeah, like I think a Destiny 3, under the appropriate leadership, I think it could work. Like any institution, when you have a bunch of knowledge, experience, and talent, it really comes down to leadership. You can see this across everything. You can see this across business. You can see this in sports. You can see it in game development. That when you have experience and talent, if you're rudderless, it doesn't matter. Like you without good leadership, you're sort of cooked before you even really get out of the gate. You're cooked. And I think that's been their problem for a while. Like if somebody left me a comment on my Destiny video, my Destiny 3 is inevitable video, okay? And here's what they said. They basically said that they had no confidence in the game because they've been running Destiny 2 into the ground all these years. And I think that's a misdiagnosis. Here's why I don't agree with what they're saying, okay? Here's why I think it's a misdiagnosis. I'm going to pin a live discussion link on the Destiny is Inevitable video because it's actually doing really well right now. Like, a lot more people are watching it. So thank you to everybody who watched that video, left a comment and a like. I greatly appreciate you supporting the content. Okay, so here's the deal. I think it's a misdiagnosis, and let me explain why. Destiny 2 was not run into the ground. Destiny 2 had bandwidth shifted away from it onto incubation projects. Pete Parsons admitted this in a blog. How did Bungie start to run into the red? How? How do they do it? They didn't do it by running the game into the ground like, oh, we're dumb and don't know what we're doing. No. They internally said, we don't want to do a Destiny 3. Let's spin up all these incubation projects. Really think about this for a second. You had Luke Smith, the guy that essentially saved Destiny 1, the guy that sort of took over and was helping and getting things into a good place with Destiny 2. He was in a pretty high leadership position when Destiny 2 was in some of its best times. He was no longer working on Destiny 2, and neither was Mark Noseworthy. Now, I don't think Mark Noseworthy had great ideas. I think he was the one who wanted to, like, over-casualify the game, and, you know, getting him on something else, I don't think is a huge detriment. But you had some of your most longest standing people no longer on Destiny 2. They didn't drive Destiny 2 into the ground. They were shifting things around, and they essentially robbed Peter to pay Paul, and they lost the money, is essentially what happened. They took from one to build something else, and those things they were trying to build it was non-starters. It didn't work. All those incubation projects are now gone, except for maybe one, I think. Like the gummy bear that spun off, and now the studio LFG or whatever. So I think it's a misdiagnosis. It's like, I don't think they ran the game into the ground. I think they took bandwidth away from it, and it made it struggle. It struggled to survive. It struggled to do well. They lost their way because they were trying to work on other things. They were essentially trying to build a road. Like, they were building themselves an off-ramp is what they were doing. That's what they were doing. And the off-ramp crumbled beneath their feet. So now, revisiting the idea of Destiny 3 is not a matter of like, well, they drove Destiny 2 into the ground. It's like, no, they kind of starved it, you know. They weren't giving it the bandwidth, the money. And to be fair, I think after 10 years, it was going to be really, really hard to put Destiny 2 back into a good place. It's nice that Destiny 3 is in the works, says Resident Recon, but I won't be returning for it. Bungie killed so much goodwill with me that I won't return. I had a friend who quit Destiny 2 before me, and he quit due to the XP throttling back in the day. Here's something that I respect, but I do not align with. I respect a consumer who says, never again. If you feel a developer or a publisher or a company crossed a line and you're like, yeah, I don't want anything to do with you. I don't want anything to do with your game, your company, your whatever. I respect it, but I don't align with it because I remember talking to somebody that had this level of fervor. Excuse me. They had this level of conviction for No Man's Sky. And I found it to be unnecessary because if the game completely transforms and the studio's committed and the studio is passionate, then why hold the grudge? Like, why stay away from the game? I respect it. I do. I respect the conviction to be like, nope, I'm done. I don't align with it, and I feel like sometimes it's like unnecessary. It's like, so in the case of your friend who quit due to XP throttling, that's like ancient history at this point. That's like, I'm not going to go back to this restaurant because 7 years ago they overcooked my food or undercooked it or whatever. Like, okay. I mean, yeah. You stand up for yourself. Do it. You know, having self-respect as a consumer and having values and standards, I think is respectable. I just don't align with it because to a certain degree, I do that. I do break with a company, but if they do the work and they bring out something amazing, for example, if the third Jedi game comes out, I'm not going to say no to it, even after what they did with Jedi Survivor. I'm not going to be like, no, dude, they launched a game, it wasn't ready, and then it took them 5 months to fix it, and they still haven't really fixed it on PC. I'm done with them. If that's your choice as a consumer, I respect it. I'm like, oh, no, yeah, respect. That's a hard line. That's a deep, conviction that you have. What did they do, Jedi Survivor? It just came out way too early. It had all kinds of problems. It took them like 4 or 5 months to fix it. It was barely playable on PC. It's still not in a very good state on PC. Its score is terrible. A lot of glitches and bugs and problems. And on console, it also had issues. Parasito says in our members-only Discord, he says, I had an interesting conversation the other day that made me realize most successful franchises, shows, movies, series, etc. all have a roughly 4 to 5 year timer before the high-level story arcs need to wrap up without being disappointing or crashing and burning. You can't give the consumers too much runway, otherwise they'll create impossible expectations. Times also change fast enough that the same game or story now won't feel the same in 5 years. You know what it makes me think of? Parasita, it made me think of the Wheel of Time and how, long that book series is. And it works in a book series because you can always decide to start to read it. You can just go back and start with book 1. The problem with a game like Destiny is if you come in midstream, you're like, wait, okay, hang on. What's this chick with the crying eyes? What's her deal? Why is she so weird? Like, what's she talking about? Like, you're kind of coming in midstream. I think it makes it really difficult for like a really, really long story arc to land. I think there's truth to what you're saying because like in a game or a show or something, the other advantage that the show has is you can just go back and watch season 1. Like if you missed out on Severance, go watch it. It's one of the best shows I've watched as of late. Super creative. You just go back and start with season 1. The problem with a game like Destiny is you can't do that. You can't like go back and relive Destiny 1. You're like, you can't go back. You're like, what? Who? When? How did this happen? You can't go back and relive the Taken King. You're wrong. What am I wrong about? Parasito says, pipe dream for me would be Sony dissolving Bungie leadership at the C-level, take the 11 years of metrics and analytics, make Destiny 3 an Unreal or Decima as the intended end of the franchise, clearly communicate that it's a 3 to 4 year content lifecycle with an 8 to 10 year total lifetime, keep the Destiny creative team on board, Destiny 3 launches and then start incubating new IP. I'd love it to be in Decima. Thought Severance was overhyped. I loved it. I thought it was one of the more creative shows. I mean, I'm a massive fan of The Twilight Zone and Alfred Hitchcock, so I like old television, and I don't like a lot of the new stuff. And I thought Severance struck that Rod Serling, Hitchcockian tone. It was very, very creative. I loved it. The Red War campaign's been completely removed from Destiny 2. There's no way to play the original story. Imagine trying to communicate somebody the significance of, like, Oryx and the Taken King, and they can't like experience that. They cannot experience the moment, the music. I mean, they can watch it on YouTube, but it's not the same. The moment where he takes himself is freaking ridiculous, right? You can technically go back and play D1, but you definitely can't play it as it was experienced along the way. You also can't go back and play the Red War. Yeah, I mean, I guess that's technically true. D1's completely intact. Every story is still there. Yeah, I guess that is true. I never considered that. I mean, you got to go back and play it in like old gen levels of performance, but it is still there. I don't think anybody's really going to do that, though. That's one of the challenges, again, of a live service game, is you go that far back, and it's like, is anybody going to want to do that? It's easier to do that, I think, with like a book or a TV show. A component game can come third and still be hailed as a classic. I don't understand what you're disagreeing with. A well-done Part 2 or Part 3 can do well. I feel like you're disagreeing with somebody in chat and not me. I don't think I said that it... I'm sitting here arguing that Destiny 3 could be amazing. 30 FPS is unbearable. It's not just 30 FPS. It's like a 75 FOV. It's like your face up against the glass of an aquarium. It's like you can't see left or right. A Destiny Classic could be really good too if you could play through D1 and then immediately launch into D2, but I also understand it probably wouldn't sell. There's a part of this rumor about Destiny 3 that there's going to be like a classic Destiny 2 or something. I wouldn't want them to put a whole lot of work into that. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't think it would move much of the needle. You wouldn't get a lot of momentum or sales from like a classic Destiny 2. Yo, Tech coming in with 43 months over there on purple. Thank you so much. Bumping the line to 188. Strong start for the week. Destiny 3 needs to stop overly catering to casual when they won't stay long term. Add weapons and items to different events that can only be gotten in them. Also stick to a set gear idea. Here's what they need to do, though. I think what you're saying is true to a point, but they've got to be careful not to create the inverse problem. If they overly cater to the hardcore player, that makes it hard for the game to get a big funnel of players. I think one of the reasons that Destiny 1 and 2, especially Destiny 2, lived for as long as it did is it appealed to a broad spectrum of player. You could run dungeons, you could run dungeon solo, you could run raids, you could run raid challenges, or you could just live in the public space and run strikes. And both player loops, both content loops were very satisfying and enjoyable. Now, sometimes lesser than others, but in general, Bungie did a really good job catering to both types of players. I know it's the mantra of like, you're making a game for everybody is a game for nobody is generally true. I don't think Destiny did that. I think they just did an excellent job catering to both. I'm not sure how to say that. Garagaj. Gar, I'm just going to call you Gar. Thank you for 6 months and a member plus over here on YouTube. Navigating my two mice here. Guys, if you haven't hit the like button yet on YouTube, do me a favor and do that. What is this? Oh, yeah, I got to confirm my hair's cuts. What is this? Okay. Yeah. Just getting a reminder. Personally, I would rather Bungie make a new IP and not do a Destiny 3. Another Destiny game would have too much baggage. Yo, what's good, Hollow Dad? Here's the thing. Crusadus Gaming. There's a reason that I don't agree with you. I would have agreed with you a couple of years ago, but I don't. And the reason I don't agree with you is they tried. They tried. Bungie tried to build themselves a bridge away from Destiny 3. They tried. It didn't work. Whatever they were doing, whatever they were building, didn't work. Put the company in the red. All those incubation projects, for the most part, are gone. Or, like, one's absorbed into the LFG team, the studio called, like, LFG or whatever. I think they absorbed Gummy Bear. I think there's another one that got absorbed as well. I'm not too sure if they've been public about that. It might have been speculation. It's hard to remember all the facts surrounding Bungie and all that stuff that happened. But I would have agreed with you back then. I would have. I don't agree with you now. I think they tried and just it didn't work. Yo, it's good, Lion. How are you? Unfortunately, the bridge was U-shaped. There may not be enough people left at the studio who want to make Destiny 3 good. If they just started, it's if there's many who don't want it, even if you bring others in. That's the question that I think is the right one to ask. That's the right question to ask. Did the people that didn't want to make Destiny 3, was it the studio, the teams, the talent, or was it the leadership? I lean towards it being leadership, and I'm going to explain why I think that. Borderlands and Gearbox went through a similar conundrum because Randy Pitchford, I think, might have even said this in an interview, or he heavily hinted, or maybe we just heard this. It's hard to know as a gaming commentator, like, things that we've heard over the years. Are they legit? Are they rumor? Are they interviews? Sometimes it's hard to remember. In general, the vibe and the quotes and sort of the feel that we got was that Gearbox didn't want to become the Borderlands studio. That's why they did Battleborn instead of Borderlands 3. And then Borderlands 3 came out, and it came out way later than it probably should have. It seemed like it was kind of on its back foot. It sold a ton of copies, but then it ended up not being a very liked game by the audience. It's considered like the weakest Borderlands in the group next to like the pre-sequel. So, would you play Destiny 3 if it came out? Yeah, as long as they're not going to be petty after all these years. You know what I mean? I mean, I can be as petty as the next of them, but I've tried to just completely move on from holding some kind of a grudge against somebody who probably doesn't even work at the company anymore. But I think that the leadership at Bungie was probably more prone to say, we don't want to do this again. What do you mean, petty? Well, they banned me from their game for no reason in 2021. I think it's a false dichotomy. I think leadership and talent both had positives and negatives, but the excitement for what they were building was both the glue and the driver. Here's another reason why I lean towards leadership and talent, Parasito. A lot of the people at the talent level, at the team level, at the engineer level, at the dev level, I would imagine at this point in time, given everything that's happened, see you later, Atwood, thanks for hanging. I would imagine they would just like a job. And they would like the studio to be successful. So I think they would figure out a way to be passionate about designing new guns, new worlds, new stories, new Guardians. Because, do you want a job? Do you want the studio to stay open? Because this is kind of the path forward for Bungie. I think leadership was like, we don't want to do this anymore. We want to do something new. You know, I think they wanted to turn. If you listen to the way Luke Smith spoke about the game and the way they restructured some of the positions, if I would bet it in his mind, they were trying to turn Destiny into like a franchise. I think they wanted TV shows. I think they wanted movies. I think they wanted spin-off property. And I think in his mind, that was their way to not build Destiny 3, was to turn Destiny into like a franchise. I don't think the people that banned you work there anymore. A lot of those people got the sack. I also wouldn't be surprised if Sony's in charge, they don't want that kind of nonsense going on. Do you really want that attached to the headlines of your game? You know, that like a 10-year-old grudge from like a nonsense cancel culture moment in 2020. Like Destiny 3 comes out in 2030 and they're still holding a grudge. Like wherever we are as a platform, wherever my YouTube and Twitch channel is by then, you really want me making a video and having other streamers and other YouTubers covering the fact that you've preemptively banned me from your game? Like, I don't think Sony wants that kind of nonsense, that kind of petty, that kind of stupid going on. That there's just no reason for that. If with that much time passing, that would be ludicrous for anybody to do that. Now, I'm not putting any eggs in the basket of being like, yep, I'm going to be a Destiny creator again. No, I would play it and cover it, but I have pretty severe doubts that like Sony and PlayStation would be okay with that kind of pettiness, especially now that I'm back on Twitch. Like, what are we doing here? You know what I mean? It would be, I don't know. It would be very odd, I think, by the time Destiny 3 comes to market for that to be a reality. Are you playing Where Winds Meet? I started it yesterday. There's a lot going on. Also, there need to be a performance patch for the PS5 Pro. I played it on PC for an hour, and I see the quality, and I see the grind, and I'm not interested. It's a very cool game, but I don't have time for a game like that right now. I don't have time for part-time job live service game. If I'm going to play a game like that, it would have to be something I could play with Madam. Like when we put in like 60-something hours into Borderlands, like even then we got to the end and we were kind of ready to be done. But that's a long time. That's a lot of hours. If I'm going to plug away in a game like Where Winds Meet, I need to be able to play with Madam. My play schedule needs to align with something she wants to play, and she wouldn't play that game. So Sony had big plans also. Sony wants to help Bungie turn its franchise into movies. I wouldn't count that plan off the table, Paul. You know what I mean? Just look up Asmongold about Lono. I'm not opening wounds for our host here. Asmongold didn't make any videos about me. It'd be amazing if he would watch the video made by Upper Echelon. It's very relevant to a lot of the things that Asmongold's been covering lately. But yeah, it's not. Asmongold did not make a video about me or the situation. That'd be incredible, especially if he let people know that I'm back on Twitch after 4 years and 9 months. That would be awesome. It would let a bunch of people know that I'm here that probably don't know that I'm here. But it wasn't him. Upper Echelon made the video about everything that happened. Imagine Destiny with 32 gig of RAM and more. How much detail, how many NPCs they could fill areas, the amount of Guardians that could fit in a certain area. Yeah, I don't know if you'd want to completely go full, though, and be like, well, we got 32 gig of RAM, so we can go crazy. I've kind of talked about this in the past with Destiny 2. I think Destiny 3 gameplay would want to avoid just, like, go bigger and more because we can now. He made a comment on it at some point, nothing significant if I can remember correctly. I think somebody just put it in his chat and he just like read it. I don't think he even, I don't know if he's ever officially commentated on what happened to me. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, but with Destiny 3, there's a lot of potency in Destiny as an action-oriented game. I think you lose that. I think you lose that if you just go huge. I think you lose that if you go huge. If you just have big, huge open areas and you've got like 20 Guardians in an area, you know, taking down a world boss or something, I think you lose some of the potency. Like, one of the reasons a Guardian feels strong is because it's just you and a couple other Guardians taking down big bosses and big brutes and mini bosses and majors or whatever class of enemy that you're taking down. If it's me and like 20 other Guardians hurling grenades and supers at some big giant, you know, boss, I don't know. I think you lose some of the potency. I think you do. There's a recipe there. There's a cocktail that you can't just be like, well, let's just make it bigger. Yo, Tyler, thank you for 52 months on a VIP. I appreciate it. We're exactly 10 members away from 200. Whoever hits it gets it. I'm going to owe you guys a member. And there comes one from Legend. Thank you for 42 months, my friend. Welcome back. You fall into a trap like Bethesda did with size and scale. Bigger's not always better. I just want you to imagine how different that would feel. Imagine what it would feel like. Like, you go from killing a boss where it's like you and a couple other Guardians, or like in a raid, right? It's like 6 Guardians, you know, simultaneously satisfying mechanics, simultaneously taking down, you know, some big huge boss. If all of a sudden there's 20 of us in the room, you lose the potency of what we're doing. Does that make sense? It's like really, really timing a bake where you bake a boss and everybody's using, you know, grenade launchers or supers or whatever. The reason that feels good is because you can sense your impact on what's going on. You're not going to sense your impact on a boss's health bar if it's like you and 20 other people in some big, huge open space. It's like the difference between, this is an analogy. I want you to take a speaker and I want you to turn the volume up as loud as it can go in a room the size of like a bedroom. I want you to take that same speaker and I want you to go outside. What happens? It doesn't sound as loud. It's like it's when it's contained to an area. Now, some of this has to do with the science of how sound waves travel, and it's bouncing off the walls, and it's a contained space, so it gives a sense of being more higher in volume. But that's a good analogy of like you open up the space, and then that speaker doesn't seem as loud. And you open up the space as a guardian, and you're there with like 20 other guardians. I think it would lose some of the potency. New World pulled that off, though. I mean, I don't think they're the same type of game, though, so it's not comparable. The power fantasy and the potency of what you're doing as a player in New World isn't even remotely the same as like what you're doing as a Guardian in Destiny. Throwing a Nova Bomb, throwing a grenade, getting out your sniper rifle or your grenade launcher or your rocket launcher. There's a reason that feels really, really cool because it's you and 4 or 5 other people. It's you and 2 other people. Like it's you against the world. You're taking down a god, with sniper rifles and rocket launchers. I think you would lose that if you just go bigger. So, we've been live for about an hour, so let's do some Q&A, all right? You guys have submitted your questions. And this is something you can continue doing if you would like. Excuse me. Let me see. Just for tracking purposes, 1 hour. Okay. All right, first question comes in from Creature. He says, what are the chances that even Bungie has limited knowledge of the early stages of a Destiny 3? Well, I mean, I would imagine they know it now. I mean, that even Bungie has limited knowledge of the early stages of Destiny 3. Yeah, I would imagine that they're likely, they're aware of it now. Planning to monitor it this week. Now, how far into development are they? It's probably not anything. Do you know what I'm saying? It's not anything. I worded that poorly. I was referencing to the leadership in the current brass. Yeah, I mean, if the leadership is just now finding out, I mean, I would imagine that what they're doing is scoping out deliverable story. They're probably, I would imagine they're entertaining engines. There's a whiteboard with a drag. Yeah, probably. It's a concept on a whiteboard. Right. At this point in time, yeah, how far into development? Words on a dry erase board. And you know what words are probably right next to it? Possible engines. Like, what engine could we build the game in? Would be my guess. They're gonna attempt. I would hope to pivot. To pivot on their engine, because listen, say what you want about Tiger and everything else. I'm here to tell you they got to leave it behind. I'm confident they could capture the feel of Destiny in another engine. I think it would be challenging, but I think they could do it. I think they could do it in Decima. I think they could do it. They could do it in Unreal. Welcome back. I've been live streaming and making content for the last 5 years on YouTube. I got back on Twitch in April. So I think maybe you just finally are seeing me and my content again. So be sure to spread the word to your friends, anybody you used to hang out with or play Destiny with. Be like, hey man, Lono's still doing it. He's still doing his thing. Why even use Tiger anymore? Well, there would be reasons to use Tiger. One of the reasons would be it's institutionalized within the company. I mean, that would be a reason. Yo, what's good, Trey Gaming? How are you? We're going up. Thank you for all the interesting convo. Appreciate you. And Destiny sucks, he says. Thank you so much. Let me add you to the total here. I appreciate you, brother. You took a week off? Oh, I did, but he just started following me today, Pac-Man. That's why I said that. I'm assuming he's saying welcome back as in like he thinks I'm just now coming back to making content. I'm assuming that because he just followed me. It wasn't like a name that I recognized. Maybe I'm misinterpreting what he's saying. Maybe he just lurked all these weeks. Thanks for the gifted sub. You are welcome. But there would be reasons to stay in Tiger. It's institutionalized within the company. But I think Destiny 3 would have to leave it behind. Fortnite and the live events they put in are a good use case for Unreal, for Destiny. I agree with you. You released content while gone? We did. We had a couple videos hit while I was out of town. One was on Arc Raiders, the other was on Destiny. I did a Destiny video yesterday. I've got a video about the Steam Machine for this week. I've got a video about single player games. And yeah, those will hit. Usually we've been trying to do uploads in the evening, so make sure and watch for those notifications when they hit. The engine may not be the problem. The fact that it has to play on PS4 and Xbox may be the problem. Winged Wheel with 11 months. Thank you so much. Says 11 months and enjoying the content. I appreciate you very, very much, man. Welcome back. Here's the thing, though. Like, I get where you're coming from. You're like, it might not be the engine. It might be the fact that they've got to make it run on the PS4 and the Xbox One. I think there are symptoms that say otherwise. And one of those symptoms is how long it takes them to fix problems. I don't think you can lay that at the feet of old gen. There are plenty of games that are cross-gen that can patch and fix themselves rather quickly. Case in point, Fortnite. Fortnite updated itself to get 60 FPS on old gen. And when I say old gen, I mean like old gen. Like when you were playing on an Xbox One, they got that to 60 over there. Fortnite was not 60 on Xbox One and like the PS4. It was 30. They got it to 60. So they also push out updates and do live events, and plenty of people on old gen get to enjoy all that stuff. So I don't think it's necessarily like a bad theory to be like, well, maybe it's because they're shipping on old gen. I actually say this. I think you're right when it comes to certain pieces of content. It limits them. I think you're absolutely correct that Destiny needing to run on old gen is an issue. Like when Rise of Iron left behind like 360 and all that. Like there, Destiny could leave behind old gen and probably do cooler stuff with the content. But I think the slowness with which they make changes is pretty compelling evidence that the engine is an issue. It just takes so long for them to fix something. Here's an example. They'll discover a gun that's broken, and they can't fix it. They just disable it. Like, do you see? It's like, what? Huh? Like, find another game that does that. Oh, something's broken? Okay, we're going to fix that eventually, but while you wait for us to fix that, we're just going to have to disable the weapon or the grenade or the subclass or whatever. Like, and they're so slow, bro. PS5 Pro will be old gen in the next couple of years with the release of the PS6 and whatever name the Xbox console has. Well, the problem, I don't necessarily think that means that you're going to have to leave it behind. ADJC with 51 months in a VIP. Welcome back, Lono. Destiny 3 is required to keep the game alive. I think he meant studio. Renewed world, new abilities, story, gameplay, guns, and possibility better engine. Bring new players in current. Oh, you do mean the game. Yo, what's good, ADJC? Getting us to 194. Thank you, sir. Here's the thing about that, though, Crusaders Gaming. I think the PS5 and like the Xbox consoles, they're capable enough right now that you can build a really good live service game. I mean, I don't think they're that limiting. You got to think about that. Like, if you look at like where wins meet, you can see like, yeah, you can build really amazing live service games. So yes, they'll be old gen, but I don't think they're going to be like hamstringing, you know, a live service game in the way that they might like hamstring like a game that's trying to go for like high levels of graphical fidelity and world detail and stuff. Like, I don't think a live service game necessarily needs to hit those thresholds. Siriu with 8 months in a row over there on Twitch. We are exactly 5 away from 200. We'll see if anybody decides to snipe this next milestone. I will owe your platform a member. Anytime they fix something, they end up breaking something else. That also is a pattern. Why fix it when you can make people not use it and forget it? I mean, I don't think that's the strategy. Like, I don't... I mean, it'd be funny if that was the strategy. If they're like, well, hopefully they forget about this weapon, because that's not going to happen, right? Can you imagine that email? Disable the weapon. Hopefully they forget about it. Like, generally speaking, I don't think that's going to happen. Hey, we got some coffee orders coming in. Thank you so much. Killian ordered a bag of Frickmas and a bag of the light roast. Y'all, that's 2 bags of coffee for $30. You know what I'm saying? You're getting a good deal there. And 2 bags of light roast to Rich. Thank you so much for doing that. I'm telling you, man, if you're a coffee drinker, they've really raised the price of coffee everywhere. And not us. We're actually doing a sale. You can benefit from us trying to move through our inventory. Use the coffee command or go to reforgeroast.com. Yo, it's good. Crack Baby Music, how are you? Shared to X. Appreciate you, man. I appreciate that. Let's go to the next question. Silver Subaru says, if you could pick what game engine would be ideal for Destiny 3 to be built in, I'll be honest with you. I would be okay with Unreal. I would be okay with Decima. Decima's really good at big, huge spaces, at big, huge enemies. Decima's really good at bombast, if you look at the combat in Horizon. We also know that Decima has been used for shooters before. Unreal would be nice because you could do some of the live events like they do in Fortnite, and Unreal is very agile. Now, Unreal comes with its own razor blades and its own struggles and issues. I'd be cool with them transitioning to Unreal only if they kept the same art style and didn't do the hyper-realistic style most devs do with Unreal. Yes, whether they do Decima or Unreal, I agree with what Barrier is saying. You have to maintain the game's identity. This is so key going forward. I think what happened with a lot of games is everybody became sort of hyper fixated on photorealism, and so games lose their identity in that forest. It's like, well, okay, every game's hyper realistic now. Like, what? You have to have identity. I think a really good example of a game that's photorealistic but also has an identity is Death Stranding 2. Another good example of a game that's photorealistic that has an identity would be Ghost of Yotei. If you can't nail the art style, you know, there's photorealism in Expedition 33, and it's another great example of a game that has a very clear identity. As soon as you see a scene in a sequence, you're like, oh yeah, that's Expedition. Oh yeah, that's Death Stranding. Like, this is something that game companies are going to have to start really considering, is you can't just nail graphical fidelity. You have to nail the game's identity. You have to. Because I've said this many times, like I think like Hi-Fi Rush is going to look cool 5 years from now. Why? It's just got a great art style. Borderlands 4 is going to look cool 5 years from now. Why? It's just got a very unique and carved out art style. Expedition 33 is going to look cool 5 years from now. You're not going to be like, oh, it looks like crap. You're going to be like, they've just got a great art style. Jaggy with 51 months. Thank you very much, man. Welcome back. The game's been losing its visual identity for years. Things ported from D2 look worse. Oh, I agree with you, Z. 100%. When I saw screenshots of the King's Fall raid, I was like, what the heck is that? It looked like a cartoon. The King's Fall raid, from an art and a direction standpoint, I think is one of the strongest moments in the history of Destiny. I mean it. Like, traversing through the Dreadnought, just the Dreadnought in general, I think is like the pinnacle of art direction and visual identity from Destiny and from Bungie. I think it's like probably some of their best work, if not their best work. And then you look at King's Fall Raid in Destiny 2, and it looked like a cartoon. It was like, what happened? It's like it's too colorful. There's no sense of dread. There's no sense of darkness. You're in the Ascendant realm. Like, you're literally going into, essentially you're going into the Upside Down to kill Oryx. Yeah, Dreaming City was just magnificent. Yeah, Dreaming City was amazing. Wrath of the Machine was another really, really great vibe. Opening up that diamond to get the weapon and stuff. Like they've got some really, really great things in their history. And I think they lost a lot of that with Destiny 2. They went too colorful. They went too... They started to look very akin to like a mobile game. Yeah. So, a question from Wire Rope, though, says, should Destiny 3 be a next-gen exclusive? No. This would be an enormous mistake. And what I'm going to say, I think you probably know what I'm going to say, but this would be a terrible way to launch a live service game. You need a full player funnel. You cannot launch Destiny 3 and leave out. So by the time Destiny 3 comes out, there's going to be over 100 million PlayStation 5s in circulation. You can't leave those people out and be like, yeah, sorry. You also have to consider how big the PC landscape is and what we've learned in the recent weeks with the Steam machine. With the majority of people in the Steam user base are on like mid-level rigs and down. You don't want to leave those people out either. You want them to be able to play Destiny 3. So I do not think that would be a smart choice. Next gen's not going to be that much of a leap. Yeah, the other thing you have to remember is all signs point to the PlayStation 6 being a leap with like lighting and machine learning and AI and upscaling. It's not, you're not going to be like, oh my gosh, Destiny on a PlayStation 6, blows the PlayStation 5 out of the water. In some ways, you'll say that. There was a screenshot circulating showing the reflections on a PC versus a PS5 Pro in Alan Wake 2. And I thought they both looked great. And it was like, a $2,000 PC versus a PS5 Pro. The guy was basically trying to say that like PC is superior. It was actually a really... I thought, accidentally, it was a really great commercial for the PS5 Pro, because it was like, do you want to spend 3 times the amount of money to get better reflections in the water? Like, that's what a lot of consumers are going to look at and conclude that, like, the tweet seemed really out of touch with the general consumer. The general consumer would look at that and be like, why would I spend $2,000 so that the water looks a little bit better? That's what they're going to say. They're going to say the same thing when the PlayStation 6 comes out. It's going to be a harder sell. So the lighting and the reflections are better? Like, I don't know if I want to upgrade. I really like my PlayStation. It's kind of expensive, right? If times are tough and inflation and all the rest and, cost of living and everything else that makes somebody, a little hesitant to make that kind of a purchase. I think that people are going to say the same thing. Like, I think they're going to say the same thing. They're like, I'm good on my PlayStation 5. I don't need the lighting to look better. There are people that sort of sneer at it anyway. They're like, lighting? They think ray tracing is like a gimmick or whatever. So, I don't think you would do that with your live service game. You wouldn't limit it to like, well, no, it's going to be PlayStation 6 only. And think about it from this perspective. Like, do you need a live service game to blow your mind with lighting? Or do you need a live service game to have a great content loop? Right? Like, when you see a trailer for like a Spider-Man 3, you're going to expect to be blown away graphically. In a live service game, I don't think so. I don't think anybody's like combing over where winds meet and they're like, yes, but you see the reflections and the water. No, nobody's doing that because it's a live service game. I think expectations are in a slightly different category for live service games. It's like, I don't think people would accept like crap, like if it looks like, garbage. But I also don't think they're going to say the water's not reflective enough. Now, if you do that with like a big single player title, like, like a Spider-Man or something, I think Spider-Man, people are going to expect it to look really, really good. So no reason to buy a PlayStation 6. I think plenty of people will conclude that, yes. I think people do that every gen. I think every gen people look and say, no, I don't really need that yet. There's like 40 to 50 million people still booting up a PlayStation 4. Consumers generally will not make a leap in a technical purchase like that until they see it as like necessary or like there's like a strong enough motivator to do it. So like with your television or whatever, there are plenty of people right now on a television, that's, I don't know, 10 years old. And you could take them to the store and you can be like, but look at this and look at this. And they're going to go, yeah, I know, but mine works fine. Mine works fine. I don't need to spend that money right now. They'll do the same thing with a new console. They'll be like, no, I'm good. I use my PS4 to play, Fortnite and Warzone. And that's, I think, something that a lot of people forget is that a lot of people are not as enthused as like maybe we are when they boost something. Like with the PS5 Pro as an example. I got really excited when they said, here's a game running quality ray tracing mode at 60 FPS. A consumer, the average consumer next to me is going to be like, okay. They're not going to be as enthused as I am, and I think that that's fine. So it's not going to be as compelling to them as it might be to, those of us that are far more into this world and, watching videos, That's, I think, something that gets lost in the conversation. Like, I think evidence of what I'm saying is the majority of PC users, like in the Steam database, when that guy referenced that. Like, the guy from Valve literally referenced this recently when talking about the Steam machine. Like, the people that are playing games on Steam at like a mid-level rig and down prove what I'm saying to be true. They're just like, yeah, if it lets me play my games, I'm good. It's expensive to upgrade. My nephew is literally on a system. It's a 20 series card. And it was like struggling to play Red Dead Redemption 2. He had to like lower a lot of settings and stuff. And he's in the Steam database as a data point of somebody that's just not on a high level rig. And it's like, and he would love one. It's just not in the cards right now. Normies are the cash cows for gaming. I doubt the PlayStation 6 is going to move the needle much for normal people. It usually is going to do the same thing that the PlayStation 5's doing, is that you get your early adopters, you get your mid-gen adopters, and then you get your late-gen adopters because they have to. So like GTA 6 is going to get a bunch of late-gen adopters. When Call of Duty finally leaves behind PlayStation 4, you'll get a bunch of late-gen adopters. Purple kept kicking me out and deleting my message. Switched to YouTube. Don't know why. Maybe VPN. I don't know why it would be doing that. That's strange. Let me go to the next question, though, here. Jaggy, did I count your 51-month resub? I feel like I did. Let me know if I did not, Jaggy, and I'll add it to the total. A question here from Lightleap. Destiny was created with a specific creative vision, art style, world building, all were aligned. It does not seem current Bungie was able to keep a straight line in Destiny 2. What makes you think current employees would create a coherent vision for Destiny 3? This gets back to what I was saying about it's a misdiagnosis to say that Bungie... yeah, you can go into your settings and change your handle if you don't want that, if you want your name to look different in YouTube chat. So the diagnosis that like, well, they can't build a Destiny 3. You know, a Bungie Destiny 3 is not in the cards because they ran Destiny 2 into the ground. I think that's a poor diagnosis. I think if you listen to what they said, if you listen to what Pete Parsons said, essentially, they pulled bandwidth off of Destiny 2 to spin up incubation projects. That's not running it into the ground, that's starving it. Like, the lack of vision is also somewhat attributed to the fact that, like, just run with their vision and their narrative all the way to the end of the Darklight saga. Give them credit where credit is due. They did a really, really good job. They did. I haven't been able to touch the game for 4 years, and to not give them credit for an impressive run, like all the way to Lightfall. Like, they make it all the way to the end of the Darklight saga. And it's a coherent story with, for many people, a satisfying ending. Like, I think they deserve a lot of credit for that. Like, what if they can do that again? You know, maybe reset the universe. Maybe go somewhere else. Maybe, I don't know. Come up with some way to, you know, start, you know, have a soft reset button that they press or whatever. And they do it again? Even if it only goes for 5 years next time instead of 10. That's probably worth doing, especially in PlayStation's mind. It's probably worth doing. They've had 2 completely different leveling overhauls from one expansion to the other. This type of whiplash is exhausting. You're getting into the logistics of a live service game, which I think is more symptomatic of how long the game has been out. I don't think it's symptomatic of incompetence. I just don't. I think that they've gone for so long. They're trying to reinvent. They're basically trying to rub the paddles together, and they're trying to defib the game back to life. And I think they're not going to get a pulse eventually. I just don't think that you can. I don't think it's symptomatic of incompetence. I think it's symptomatic of how long the game has been out. So, let me pull up another question here. Guys, if you haven't hit the like button yet, do that on YouTube. It's very helpful. And a question comes in from Mr. Lowgrade. He says, I had the basic pack of Destiny 2. Do I have to buy any expansions to get what I need to knowledge-wise out of D2 to be ready for 3? I'll be honest with you. I would play it for a while before you make any purchases because it might not hook you. They've made a lot of foundational changes, and new user onboarding is terrible. From everything I've seen, heard, from everything I've read, new user acquisition is awful. So you may go a week in Destiny and you'll be like, I don't like this. If you're going to want to catch up on the lore and the story, you could probably do that with a YouTube video. Like, you know, Destiny 3 is not coming out for a very long time. So you've got plenty of time to like watch some videos and kind of get caught up on everything that's happened in the game. You know, like Destiny 1, the story so far, Destiny 2, the story so far. There's almost assuredly there's videos out there that would give you that, and you have plenty of time. I wouldn't buy anything in Destiny 2 until you feel like it's really hooked you. I don't think they'll continue the story at all. I tend to lean to what Paul is saying. I don't think they'll try to continue the story. I think they'll try to do some kind of a reset. You know, that would be my guess. I think this is how I kind of picture it. I feel like Destiny 1 to Destiny 2 and the Darklight Saga is like this big, giant boulder that dragging that into a new game, think about how limiting that is. It's extremely limiting in the stories you can tell, in the characters you can include. I don't think that that's a good idea. Honestly, I don't think it's a good idea. I don't even know if long-standing Destiny fans would disagree with me. I think even they would say, you know what? Why don't we just leave this story behind and let's just start over? You did a great job. You concluded the Light Dark saga. You push the reset button. Take us somewhere new. There's a 10-hour video covering the Destiny lore story from beginning to final shape. There you go. Yeah, not Lightfall, Final Shape. Isn't Final Shape the conclusion of the Dark Light saga? I get the names mixed up. Yeah, I mean, you could watch that and you could get everything. So, let's pull another question here. Pac-Man on Bike says, what are they going to do in Destiny 3 to make people come back? We can't just be chasing more god rolls and shooting dregs, can we? Well, here's the thing. Obviously, if they really want to do this right and they really want to go the distance, they would need to take you to new places and have completely new enemies. Completely new enemies. But I don't think you can change the fundamental chase of loot to be like, well, we're not chasing god rolls anymore. I mean, it's a looter shooter. It's an MMO action looter shooter. Astrocross disagrees. He wants things to carry over, story, characters, weapons. I hard disagree with him. I think he's great, but I don't agree with him. No, I don't agree with him either. I really like Astrocross. I have a massive amount of respect for him as a content creator as well as just a man. I think he's a stand-up guy. Like the only... Anyways, yeah, a lot of respect for him. I don't agree with him. I think it would be so limiting in what you could do. That's so limiting. It would just be... You talk about shackling a game. Carrying anything forward, carrying content from game to game has been a problem. I agree with you, Sentry. Like, I think I understand where he's coming from, but my pushback would be, man, they ran a good race. They ended well with the Dark Light saga. And what's everybody's issue now? Is like, well, what is there to do now? Interest is down. Concern is down. It's like, well, who cares about all this stuff? Like, I think starting over is the right way to do it. You can have carryover of every exotic in the game just by utilizing and improving the aspect system. No, I think it's a total non-starter if you carry over weapons, if you carry over guardians, and you carry over story. I absolutely think that's a non-starter. I think that's dead before it starts because unless you just do it as fan service. And within 6 months, all that stuff doesn't matter. Kind of like pre-order bonuses. Y'all know that pre-order bonuses, right? You get them and they look cool. And then like a month later, nobody's using the pre-order bonuses. Like, if you did it as like a fan service thing, and then they're quickly forgotten, maybe. But again, my big concern about bringing story forward and characters forward and stuff like that, I just feel like that's so limiting in what they could do. Like that, I think that really, really would limit freedom in your game by a pretty significant amount. What the heck is this? I don't know who you are. Anyway, I'm saying don't carry over the controversy holds as exotic gloves. Huh? I'm saying make their effect an aspect in your subclass. Oh, no. You can't. You can't bring any of that stuff forward. It's got to be all new. All new everything. Powers, perk systems, subclasses. It's got to be everything has to be fresh for Destiny 3. So 5 years from now, I really don't agree. So 5 years from now, you're going to boot up a Destiny 3 and like you're going to be bringing stuff over like perks, basically. I don't know. I feel like people would want every square inch of the game to be new. Whether it's a perk or a grenade, a subclass, emblems, shaders, all of it. It's got to be brand spanking new. I'm coming in from behind off YouTube. I really think engine choice needs to be based on the ability of the engine to scale how easily it is to make content with. Right, so the question would be, which would grant you that ability? Would it be Unreal? Or would it be, Decima? Like, I kind of agree with you. What engine's going to give you the most? I think engine agility matters the most. Because I think many engines can scale for like size and encounters and stuff. And, you could replicate good movement and gunplay and all of that. I think you need you need agility more than anything. You need to be able to make a quick change or a quick fix or a quick content add, You can pay homage to what has gone before, but you can't have to pull anything from existing Destiny into Destiny 3 to do so. If the story has any tie in at all, we learned that it should be in there some way. Not sure what way you do it, but you can't just pull a D2 and slowly bring in a bunch of weapons we already had. No, I agree with you. I think the absolute best way to do it is clean slate. Everything new. Because think about what that would enable them to do. It would be a whole lot easier to make compelling it would be a whole lot easier to make like a compelling perk system, a new perk system. Like, does anybody really want to... Hang on, I need to block this person. There we go. Report spam. Submit report. Done. Like, do you really want to be grinding for guns that have a reload perk and a damage perk again? Like, nuke the site from orbit. Create an entirely new perk system. So you're not stuck in the trap that they're stuck in now. Oh, this gun has a reload perk and a damage perk that basically makes its DPS its top tier weapon. It's best in slot weapon, best in slot roll. Cool. What are you going to give me that's better than this? It's the only way to be sure. Somebody got the Aliens reference. Like, you get stuck the minute you're in that. The minute you're shackled to anything from Destiny 1 or 2, you are instantly stuck with... It's a damage perk, it's a reload perk. There you go, Mr. Low Grade. Looking good. So I think you've got to completely start over fresh. And I think they could, oh my goodness, they could avoid so many of those pitfalls. You never do a damage perk or a reload perk ever again. Ever again. Don't do it. If you're going to do a damage perk, it needs to be tied to something very specific, something skill involved. Like, every crit you hit makes the next clip, maybe have like stronger like crits or something. But then you could have other perks that are in sort of a, I don't know. You'd have to really rethink. I'm trying to do this off the top of my head, which I could create problems by doing that. You'd have to be very thoughtful. And you have to create an entire perk system that doesn't devolve into damage perk, reload perk, god roll, done. You cannot fall into that trap again. Kaiser Soze with 8 months, welcome back. Let me add you to the total here. 197, we're 3 away. There's no data release for Destiny 3, no. Just that they've entered very early development. Damage perks have evolved nowadays, TBH, Rampage and stuff like that's old news. Think about how long that took, though, is what I'm saying, Z. How long did it take him to do that? Every year, every expansion, every new gun, that's what everybody was looking for. They would want the new version of Rampage. The new version of a reload damage perk combo. Yo, Behemoth comes in with a VIP plus and bumps the line to 198. Thank you, my friend. Look how long it took them. Why? Because that was the cage they trapped themselves in for such a long time. If I want you to think about starting over, what they could do with the perk system if nothing comes forward, none of the baggage from D1 or D2 comes over, what they could do with the perk system and how many they could give you and how the god rolls could look and the variety they could have within that, so that you're not doing this sort of, we're all sort of chasing some version of Outlaw Rampage. We miss you, man. I appreciate that, man. Thank you. I'm so glad to be back after a week-long break like that. I think the Guardian story is done. It's cooked. I think you could tell new stories. I think you could go to new places, new enemies. Happy to watch the streams again. I appreciate that. If you guys are watching on YouTube, try to get me to 300 likes. We've had a really, really nice, strong first day back. I also appreciated all of the people who left comments on the video about how, Destiny 3 is inevitable. That video is doing very well. A lot of the times when I go live, our uploads, I kind of kill them by going live, and it's doing great. So if you came from that video, thank you so much for coming over. If you've hit subscribe and you're a new viewer, or you enjoyed that video and you've never really been here before, man, I appreciate you hanging out with us today. Burning Ambition is one of the best perks. Yeah, so I'm not familiar with what that is. Starting in Witch Queen, we got perks on weapons meant to complement subclass builds. Right. But again, hear what I'm saying. Look how long it took them to get there, and imagine what they could do building from scratch. Everything they learned in D1, D2, everything they learned with these new perks that you're talking about, building a system from scratch with scalability, with elasticity, with the ability, giving themselves the ability to come out with new content and new guns and new perks, and you got raids, you got dungeons, you got aspirational content, you got set bonuses and all kinds of stuff that they could build with all of that information. You cut that cord. You cut that cord, and the freedom it would give them, I think, would be immense. I really do. I think the minute you bring anything forward from D1 or 2, I think you're putting yourself into a bad place. Very limiting. TJ Boom Boom submitted a question. He says, is there another franchise you could see Destiny collabing with? Sorry if you've already answered this. I've not answered this. I honestly don't think they should do that ever again. I have a video called Die with Dignity, and I argue that it just doesn't, it's not very dignifying in the death throes of your game to be doing like a Star Wars thing or any other pop culture collaboration. I don't think it looks good. I think the optics on it is bad. I do. I think the optics on it's bad. It looks like some desperate attempt to, what's the main reason you visit the Earn section? To check on paid memberships. Hang on. Yeah, YouTube's asking me a question. Overall, how satisfied or dissatisfied you are with the Earn section of YouTube? I'm very dissatisfied with it, actually. What's your single biggest challenge? They said it was going to be one question, and now it's a bunch of questions. They got me, chat. They tricked me. They tricked me. I thought it was going to be one more. No more collabs, please. That's what I'm saying. Yo, Storm comes in with VIP for 48 months. We are at 199. Like, we were right there on the edge. Who's going to bring this one home? Oh, Storm's going to bring it home, actually. He did a membership on both platforms and gets us to 200. I'm not sure which one he did first. I didn't see. Thank you for your feedback. Okay, they're done. They're done. I was like, we've basically been trying to get YouTube to give us more information on memberships in general. And so whenever they have a survey on something like this, I want to let them know that, like, no, I'm not satisfied. I don't understand anything. It's been a long time, right? And we just want more information. It would help me help you guys. Like, I could do more for you and create better incentives and stuff for you as the user. And so I'm always letting them know, hey, I need more information. So it helps me, build a better content flow for you guys. Broken Earth comes in with 9 months. And that's an Agent of Chaos. Thank you so much, sir. Pushing us past the 200 mark. I'm going to give that one to YouTube because I think he renewed on Purple first. And then I think he renewed on YouTube. So I think Storm landed the plane. I do. I think he secured the 200 for YouTube. I'm going to give credit to YouTube for that one. Purple's got them all today. They've gotten them all. So, disagree, that's for Twitch. Of course you do, Hilly. Hilly has said virtually very little all day. And he's like, no, that's Twitch's. He's like, he comes fresh out of lurk. He's like on the phone with like a dying relative. He's like, you're going to have to hang on just a second. It's like coming over and typing. That's for Twitch. Oh my gosh. Don't die yet, okay? Hang on a second. I got to type this. Oh, gosh. Some things need to be said. Aaron Wright coming in with 36 months on YouTube. That's a long time, my man. That's 3 whole years. Welcome back. We're at 202 and it's only Monday. Let's have a big week. Did I get to your question already? No, you're one question away. I got Crusadus Gaming saying, do you see the new Terminator 2 coming out, side scroller? Yeah, it looks pretty good. I'm going to jump right to Sven's, though, because it's more on topic. He says, would the franchise benefit from a complete and total narrative reset, new universe, new planets, new abilities, new enemies, new everything? This is essentially the capstone to what I've been saying. Yes. It's time. You did this amazing. Think about what they did with Jin Sakai in Tsushima as an analog here, right? Like, okay, as an analogy, I should say. You've got a wonderful end to his story, and then they're freed up from that. They don't have to get creative. They don't do any weird backflips to be like, well, is he going to learn new stances or is he going to learn new weapons? Why would he learn new weapons? He's like an expert with a katana. They didn't have to do any of that. They got to tell a brand new story, an entirely new context for enemies and threats and stances, all of that in Yote. They got to do that. Excuse me. I want you to think about that in the context of like a Destiny 3. In the context of a Destiny 3, you are basically saying, we told this amazing story back there. Dark Light Saga, Cade 6, Ikora, Shaxx, all of them. Leave it all. Nobody comes forward. Nothing comes forward. It's time for a new story. I think that it is. I think that they did such an excellent job. You just like set that to the side and say, we're very proud of that story. We think it's excellent. It's time to tell a new story. I think there's a lot to be said there. I want you to think about what you benefit from just within the realm of the players. Returning players, new players, and long-standing players are like, you know what? Fresh start. All new. No baggage. I'm not missing out. I'm not picking up midstream. I don't need to go watch some video. I can jump in right now. Only the Guardian goes forward? No. I'm serious on this, man. I'm dead serious. You just leave it all behind. Nothing comes forward. Only way the Guardians could come forward is they'd have to fall through some kind of a time gate or something, and then everything is different. Nothing is the same. The universe is different. The NPCs, the enemies, the weapons, the subclasses, everything is different. That's the only way you could do it if you want to bring your Guardian forward. My man B Max says +1 to Twitch. That's 9 months. We're sitting at 203. Thank you, sir. Then it's not Destiny or Destiny 3. You're correct, but I don't think it matters. You're right. It really wouldn't be like a Destiny 3, but that doesn't matter. I don't think so. I think what matters is viability. I think what matters is flexibility and agility and elasticity, right? I sound like I'm like campaigning. We're going to have agility and viability. But seriously, I think that matters far more. What matters more is setting up the game to do well long term, and I don't think you do that by bringing anything forward. You're describing a franchise reboot and not a sequel. You are technically correct, but I don't think it matters. I think they would have to call it Destiny 3 from a marketing perspective. I think they would have to do that, and they would have to say, listen, this is more than a sequel. We're calling it Destiny 3 so that everybody understands there's a clear break here. Maybe they don't call it Destiny 3. I think the problem is the way they did naming conventions of their DLCs. I think it would be very difficult to just call it like Destiny Universe or Destiny New Horizons or something. Like, if you call it that, you're going to run into a problem. Although they did it with Destiny Rising, so maybe they could. You know, Destiny Reborn, Destiny something. Like, maybe they could. Maybe they don't need to call it Destiny 3. I think that the marketability and the search value of Destiny 3 is hard to ignore. It's hard to ignore. It's easily searched. Everybody knows it's new. It's a clean break. They all know it's not the continuation of Destiny 2. You don't have to explain it to anybody. You call it like Destiny Ascension, and people are going to be like, is this DLC? No. Like, you see, like, I don't know. I think it's complicated, but I think the best route is you call it Destiny 3 and you completely start over. Yeah, call it Destiny Reforged. Stupid. Treddy with 31 months. Welcome back, dude. 2:04 on a Monday, boys. 2:04 on a Monday. Hey, y'all on Twitch, you have 48 minutes left of gifted bundles being 35% off. If anybody was planning on going crazy this week on either platform, it supports me either way. It'd save you money. If you were going to go crazy for YouTube this week, if you don't mind, you can do it on Twitch and you save money because we've got 48 minutes left. Bundled gifts are 35% off. I do not have control over that. That's something that Twitch ran while I was out of town, unfortunately. They ran it while I was gone. Destiny 1 re-released. Destiny Beyond. Destiny Infinite. You know, I don't think I've heard the word infinite used before like that. I think that could be good. They name it Destiny Reforged. You sue them and now you own Bungie. Profit. Yeah, that's not going to happen. Yo, Haseo comes in with a gifted member. He's making it kind of tantalizing for Twitch. We're exactly 20 members away from 225. We'll see if anybody takes the bait. Nicely done, Haseo. That's the only one I can do. Sometimes it sets off a chain reaction, my man. One little membership like that can create a cascade of memberships. Don't ever think that a single membership is not helpful. It is. Thank you, brother. I was behind, but yeah, perks bring out level 22 DNT2 character into a new campaign designed to be started fresh. What could go wrong? Right? I'll play ball. What examples do you have? Oh, who are you talking to, Street Shadow? It's not my desire, it's just fact. I've seen it many times with an MMO. They can try to reinvent themselves, but old people will not return and new people will not want to be on board. I'm kind of with Street Shadow. Do you have an example of what you're talking about? I think there are examples to the contrary of what you're saying in like Final Fantasy. So I actually think there's evidence to the contrary of your claim. So what evidence is there in support of your claim? Would be my question. I think evidence in support of your claim is Destiny 2 right now. Destiny, we listened. Destiny, the listening. I actually think in support of what you're saying, Steward, Destiny 2 right now is like you can't keep reinventing yourself. It's not working. You're out of railroad track. It's over. It's over. The party is done. Shut it down. It's time to move on to the next thing. But like, there's a lot of other games out there that have managed to do it. That, Final Fantasy, World of Warcraft, like, didn't RuneScape have a big resurgence? Anecdotal, but I'd never pick up D3. Sure. Yeah, there's people that wouldn't. Yeah. I wonder, though, if you not picking up Destiny 3 has less to do with Destiny and more to do with your gaming habits now. You don't want another full-time job game or a part-time job game. You've kind of reached a point where that's not appealing to you. So I wonder if that doesn't have to do anything with Destiny, would there be enough people to replace folks like yourself, Eugene? Like, would there be enough players that are like, I love live service, I want more, or nothing's filled the Destiny void, and would they jump in? Does that make sense? Like, I don't necessarily think you're skipping Destiny 3 because of Destiny. You're skipping Destiny 3 because of your own player habits and your own sort of proclivities. Does that make sense? Here, I'm going to put a timer on screen. What do we got? So 44 minutes. So at 1 p.m. today. Let me run the timer just so Twitch is aware. So today's date. All right. We're going to go 1. Wait. p.m. 100% off. Gifted subs. Ends. Start show timer. There you go. You got 38 minutes to cash in. That's a key point. Can it be free to play? There are plenty of me. Your stuff's not live service pass. Yeah, there's folks like Creature that just want live service. Yeah, I don't know about free to play. The Destiny players will be 15 years older when they were when D1 started. I think a lot of the base will fall into that. So the question would be, are there people to replace them? Right? Are there people to replace them? You're right. I think there's a lot of people that'll be like, yeah, I don't want to take another ride on that merry-go-round. I'll be honest with you, Eugene. I think the vast majority would at least buy it and try it out. They might not stick with it. I think you're correct that a significant portion of the Destiny audience would be like, I'm not doing this again. Mr. Lowgrade's going to stoke the fires over here on YouTube with a single gifted to 206. He's like, come on, Twitch, wake up. You got a discount that's about to run out. So I think you're correct, Eugene, that like a big portion of the Destiny audience would not play Destiny 3 the way they played Destiny 1 and 2. I think a huge portion of them would buy it and try it out. They'd give it a shot. I think they'd give it a shot. I think they would be like, yeah, I don't want to do this again. I think they'd realize like, yeah, I don't really play games like that anymore. I don't want another part-time job, full-time job game. And then they drift. So the question would be, number one, can you get enough of them back to buy to like really, really, justify the launch of a Destiny 3? And then can you fill the vacancies that they leave behind? Because a bunch of them would be like, yeah, I don't want to do this again. I'm not sticking around this time. I'm going to bail. Right? Jason Schreier has said that the statue that the Game Awards has put out is not for a Diablo 4 expansion. He won't say what it is for now, but he says it's a good one. I really appreciate the new era that we're in, where guys that know what's coming at an event like that and stuff, they're not spoiling it anymore. I think enough people kind of griped and said, man, you guys are ruining these events. You spoil all the big announcements. So guys like Jason Schreier, Tom Henderson, Jeff Grubb, they're no longer ruining these events by being like, oh yeah, there's going to be a this or that. Like, I don't actually know if they ever did it that much, but I felt like there was at least a season of time where like every event, the big reveals were ruined. And I was like, yeah, we knew that was coming. It happened, with the Metal Gear trailer the one time. And I'm trying to think of some of the other ones where I was just kind of irritated. I was like, man, you guys took all you took all the punch out of the room. I think the one wasn't even insiders. I think it was PlayStation's fault. They put something in the store and it gave away the show ender that Jeff Keighley had with Naughty Dog or something. That wasn't really the leakers or the insiders' fault. But I do appreciate now there seems to be a commitment from Shinobi and the rest that are legitimate insiders with sources are like, we're not going to be spoiling these events and these big reveals. I like that they're doing that. I appreciate it. Makes the events more exciting. So let's take a couple more questions here. Crusadus Gaming says, is there any December games you're looking forward to playing, or are you focused on completing games you're already playing? Metroid's tomorrow. Let me just look. Let's go to releases.com and let's go to games. I'm definitely interested in Cosmic Invasion. Oh, hang on a second. And let's get the member. Whoop, member goal's in the wrong spot. Just forget the member goal for now. There we go. So Cosmic Invasion. I'll probably check that out later today. I didn't set up a stream to schedule it or stream with you guys. We'll probably check out Red Dead Redemption 2 tomorrow on the PS5 just to see how it feels. That's not like a big one though in my mind. Like a big game, obviously. What's happening? Hang on. Chrome is doing that thing. I can't scroll. Every browser has suddenly become a pile of crap. I was using Firefox and I started having issues as well. Like it just wouldn't, certain things wouldn't click and scroll. Oh yeah, Viewfinder's coming to Switch. You guys should definitely check out Viewfinder. So Metroid Prime on December the 4th. Definitely wanting to check that out. Routine actually looks pretty cool. If you guys haven't checked out Routine, this is a first-person sci-fi horror game coming out. That definitely could be worth checking out and playing. Just kind of scrolling through here. And GT7's doing some kind of an event. I'm definitely going to be checking out Avatar Frontiers of Pandora, the third-person free update. I'll be checking that out with Madam to see, what is this website? Releases.com. It's a great site for checking stuff coming out. Marvel Toko and Fighting Souls start date. I believe this is for one of their other tests. Yeah, they're closed beta. So that's not something that we would be messing with. I don't play fighting games anyway. I'm garbage at them. Let's see here. Not a whole lot here, y'all. Not a whole lot. Not a whole lot going on at the end of the year. I think a lot of games were avoiding the end of the year because of GTA 6. Obviously, we'll be streaming the Game Awards, but Ashes of Creation is anticipated to go into early access. I kind of lost interest in that game when I learned that PvP is on all of the time. Terminator No Fate does look pretty cool. This is the pixel art side scroller. Looks awesome. So, but again, I'm not coming out of my skin for that, if that makes sense. Not much here, boys. Not much here. DLC for Avatar. Well, I'll check that out, obviously, if my wife and I are enjoying the third-person update and the co-op. I bailed on that game after I was, hunting, and I was like, I just don't want to do this again. It was definitely Blue Far Cry. People were very quick to jump to that, and I didn't really feel it until I started doing the are you streaming Bluey? No, I'm not. Sorry, anybody that was looking forward to me potentially streaming Bluey. So that's pretty much the end of the year right there. So What about Brave browser? I'm not gonna just keep trying new ones. I gotta do a couple more questions here, and then I'm gonna take a quick break here. Crusadus Gaming says, if Destiny was getting ideas from streamers and players, what would you recommend they do for Destiny 3? I'm not giving them any free ideas anymore, bro. Ashton says, if there's a D3, should it have a sub fee, not a high one? I'm talking $5 a month. No. This would be... It wasn't Red Dead 2. It was Red Dead 1. I might have misspoke. Sorry. So, no. No sub fee. I think that would be a pretty big departure from what made Destiny work so well for so long. I think it should be a game you pay for, and then you have your expansions and stuff. Jason Schreier says the Game Awards statue is not teasing a Diablo 4 expansion. Yeah, I saw that. Somebody said a Dante's Inferno remake. I can see it now. Let's go back to the image. All right. Let's go back to the image. Let's see here. I had Synth Potato pulled up. Let me get it again for you guys. Let's analyze this. All right. Let's analyze this here. Put it over here on the side. So if this isn't Diablo, okay. I'm not getting anything else. I'm just not. I mean, like somebody saying like maybe a Dante's Inferno. I definitely get like demonic vibes. You know, I definitely get like opening a portal to another dimension or like a demonic dimension vibes. And here we just, you know, we have somebody walking around. I mean, we're seeing a bear with a snake. We're seeing some kind of a demon thing. We're seeing undead. We're seeing armor. I definitely saw the armor similarities to some of the God of War armor. There's an alligator down there too. The animals really throw it for me. I think the animals make it hard because, like, you see demons, undead. You know, you definitely see, like, this looks like Saros. No, this does not look like Saros. Saros' color palette is orange, not red. It's the inclusion of animals that throws it off for me. Like an alligator and a bear? You know what I mean? I think that's why people started thinking, like, the alligator's down here. And then the bear is there. Oh, no, that's not a bear. I think that's a wolf. The bear is over here. So you got a bear, a wolf, an alligator? What is that? It's some kind of an ARG event. It's a statue. Where is this in the United States? I forget. Like, they basically built this and then did like an ARG. There's a big snake tail right there, too. And so people went and they found it, and they're taking videos of it, and it lights up at night as well. Has it been confirmed to be an existing IP? Jason Schreier just said he won't say what it is, but it's a good one. He just said it is not a Diablo 4 expansion. This looks like a potential rhino horn. I don't know. The animals are what throws me off. Like, if it was just purely demonic, you'd be like, oh, Dante's Inferno, Diablo, something like that. But the wolf and the bear, and then it's doing this at night. Mesa. Yeah, people are thinking because it's on a street with Mesa and the name, it's Half-Life. Brother, if this is freaking Half-Life 3, I don't understand how. Animals are the only thing that could make it God of War. Yeah, because those were definitely animals in God of War. Alligators, bears, wolves. I just don't know. The red has a bit of a God of War vibe. Like if you remember some of the spots of Ragnarok where there were like these things that he had to grab. And Egypt definitely uses lots of animals, like Egyptian hieroglyphics and statues and structures. Like they're commonly doing things with animals. Like historically speaking, though, they tend to use more serpents and birds than bears and wolves. I could be wrong there, but like my limited awareness of like Egyptian art and hieroglyphics is it's usually birds and serpents, not bears, wolves, because like bears and wolves wouldn't be indigenous to like Egyptian regions where they would be like thinking about like what's a god of the desert, what's a god of the sky. You know, birds and serpents. Wolves and bears. I just don't know. I really don't. It's exciting. It's cool that it's a Destiny 3 statue. I think it's really cool that Keighley and the Game Awards are doing something like this. Whatever it turns out to be, I think it's cool that they did it. Is there an Egyptian god that's an alligator? I don't know. Egyptian animal gods. Yeah, Anubis is a jackal. Bastit's a cat. There's an alligator and a bull in Egyptians. My son's telling me there is. He says there's a bull and... Oh, there's a crocodile associated with the Nile River. Sobek is a crocodile, god of fertility and strength. There's cats. There's falcon. Anubis is a jackal. Horus is a falcon. Basset's a cat. Sobek's a crocodile. Hathor's a cow. Maybe that's why my son was thinking of a bull. Thoth is a baboon. Sekhmet is a lioness. Khepri is a scarab beetle. Ammon's a ram or a goose. And then Tauret is a hippopotamus. I think a bear is missing. There is a very, very clear bear in the statue. I think the bear throws it. I don't know if a bear would Egyptians even would there be bears indigenous to where they lived? Like it makes sense that you had a crocodile with the Nile and then cats and birds and things like jackals, but like a bear? Loki is a bear. That would tie it to Loki and God of War Ragnarok, yes. So maybe that's why the bear is there. All of the other animals, I don't know if there's has anybody discovered like a falcon or a hippo in the statue? Darksiders 4. What's this say? Bears were not native to Egypt, but were occasionally imported as exotic pets, and symbolic tributes from regions like Syria. So they weren't any of the gods, but they would have like known what a bear was. Their gods were usually associated with animals from the region, though. Yeah, this is why my son thought it was a bull. Yeah, they call it a cow, but he's got horns. Oops, that's the wrong thing. A jackal, phoenix, hippo, ibis, cobra, falcon, baboon, cow, frog, a vulture, a cat, a crocodile. I don't know if Sony would go full on marketing a God of War game that's years out. Yeah, this is true. An ibis is a bird. An ibis is a bird with like a really long beak. It's a bird. It's a long-legged wading bird. They inhabit wetlands, forests, and plains. My daughter was asking me. She was reading a book where they were debating what a crown was. No duck. Sorry, no ducks. Guys, I need a quick break. I need a quick break. I'll be right back. We can keep it going, keep submitting questions. Try to get us to 300 likes while I'm gone. I've got some other news stories and things to react to with you, okay? Like things about Arc Raiders and stuff. So more content to come, but I need a quick break. I'll be right back. Yo, evil Dr. Porkchap. That's a name. Welcome in as a member over here on YouTube. Bumping the line to 207. Excuse me. Had to sneeze. Wonder if it could be for PO2's new league, which starts the day after the Game Awards. It comes with the Druid class, which could possibly transform into those animals. I mean, that's a pretty big thing to do for PoE too. But I mean, they've been doing well, right? I mean, I guess they might have the money to throw at something like that. Bless you, thank you. Let me show you. This just happened. Evil Dr. Porkchop's also going to gift a member and bump the line to 208. And there's a 35% off gifted subs thing on Twitch that ends in 19 minutes. So Twitch, I've got one final discount I can do before the end of the year. I was going to save that though for like the week of Christmas. We were going to do like a Christmas gift-a-thon thing here. Let me pull up. Keeley just revealed something. He says, here are your 30 nominees for the Game Awards Player's Voice. Round 1, Arc Raiders, Battlefield 6, Expedition 33, Death Stranding 2, Delta Force, Dispatch, Donkey Kong Bonanza, Doom the Dark Ages, Elden Ring Night Reign, Final Fantasy, Fortnite, Genshin, Ghosts of Yote, Hades 2, Helldivers 2, Silksong, Indiana Jones, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, Mario Kart, Marvel Rivals, Megabunk, Ninja Gaiden 4, No Man's Sky, Peak, Repo, Silent Hill F, Sonic Racing Crossworld, Split Fiction, Warframe, Wuthering Waves. This is going to be a tough fight. I wouldn't be surprised if Arc Raiders and Expedition 33 end up battling, because the votes for Expedition 33 were so strong during the Golden Joystick Awards. I bet you that continues. The odd guy here, Battlefield 6. Oh, no, a lot of people are loving Battlefield 6. I don't think you're odd. That people are very, very pleased with BF6. Yeah. So, that's round 1. We'll see where it ends up. We will see where it ends up. Crusadus Gaming says, what was the most disappointing game you played this year, and is there more than one? The most disappointing game I played this year was Silksong. And I want to watch a video. I watched a video this morning, and the guy referenced another creator's video where he basically breaks down the difference between Nakey Jakey is who I watched, and it's called Nakey Jakey's Outdated, and he talked about Silksong and kind of his journey with it. And he referenced a video about difficulty and punishment. It's from Game Maker's Toolkit. Let me see how long it is. Game Maker's Toolkit. And the name of the video is What's the Point of Hard Games Anyway? It's a 12-minute video. And I want to watch this. I don't know if I'm going to watch it and react to it with you guys or what. It's only 12 minutes. That's actually good react length. I really like the idea of dividing difficulty and punishment. And something that I think Nakey Jakey did a good job in his video was he talked about the skill expression in a boss fight is a form of difficulty. Punishment is being required to rerun the same area that you've already proven you can run just to get back to the boss. And so I was disappointed that there was so much of that in Silksong. I thought it made the game unenjoyable. Like, I beat a boss that they nerfed. I beat a boss before they nerfed it. I didn't think the boss fights or the arena fights were too hard. I didn't. I thought that they were adequate and good and enjoyable. And so a boss that they nerfed, I had no trouble with. I was not having a good time. Like, the runbacks were just annoying to me. It's like, I've proven I can get through this area. I don't understand the design decision to be like, we need you to do that every single time you want to come fight this boss. I think it's an outdated mechanic. I do. That's my opinion. You can have the opinion that it's part of the packaging, it's part of the genre. That's fine. I don't agree. I don't see it that way. I think it's outdated mechanics. I think Elden Ring shows that even FromSoft has ascended beyond being like, well, you failed the boss fight, and that failure is linked to a run back. Instead of being linked to the fight itself and learning the mechanics and learning the telegraphs and figuring the fight out, it's linked to some, arbitrary platforming section. How far away is random. How punishing it is random. Some are more punishing than others. And so I realized that I wasn't enjoying the game. I beat the boss. I got to a new area. I got to a room that was doing the thing. There's like waves of enemies. I was doing okay, and I died. And then I had to do a run back to get to that room. And halfway back, I was just like, my son just kind of asked. He's like, why are you playing this game? Because it was putting me in a bad mood. And I was like, the next time I died and had to do a run back, I was like, you know what? I was like, I'm not doing this. I'm not going to force myself to play a game that I'm not enjoying. Games are here for me. They're supposed to serve me. I don't serve the game, right? Like, there's a lot of commentary about games that play you. Like, you're not playing the game is playing you and like getting you to spend more money. And I started to feel that way about Silksong. It was like, I'm not playing the game is playing me. It's affecting my mood. I don't have the temperament for it. I don't have the patience for it. And if I'm not having a good time, then the game isn't serving its purpose for me. It isn't. Like, I sit on my couch in the evenings and I want to relax with a video game, not get frustrated and not be irritated. There are people that get very sort of activated by that, like they really enjoy it. They like a game that kind of beats them up and pushes them down, and then they're going to overcome it. I've really lost my taste for those games. I never really had the taste to begin with. Like when I played through Dark Souls 3 and then Sekiro, and then I put like over 100 hours into Elden Ring. I did the same thing with Elden Ring Shadow of the Erdtree. I beat, what's his name? The Impaler. I beat him, and I saw enough footage of the final boss in Shadow of the Erdtree, and after I beat him and I got to a new area, I just put the game down and never went back. I was like, I know I'm not going to have a good time. I know I'm not going to have a good time. And I had a good enough time. Mesmer. I beat Mesmer the Impaler, and it was a very satisfying fight, and I really enjoyed it. And then I knew if I continue with this DLC, my enjoyment's going to go down, and so I stopped playing. So, you feel like Arc Raiders was overhyped via social media? I don't think that's an accurate assessment at all of Arc Raiders. When your game has been out this long and it's consistently hitting higher and higher player peaks, like what did it hit? 415,000? You know? So 459 is the record, but like it was hitting, 300,000, 350, 388, 415. I think your assessment is not accurate at all. You're free to think it, but like there's no way you could argue that this is from social media. Like social media overhyping Arc Raiders doesn't lead to all the way back November the 9th. They're hitting like 400,000 player peaks on Steam, and they're still all this time, almost an entire month later, they're continuing to get close to that 460. Here's a 442 on November the 23rd, and then just yesterday, here's a 415,000. So like, I just think your assessment just feels like one of those sort of like off the cuff, something popular that I don't like must mean that it's overhyped, right? It's like when someone says that something is overrated, that just means that there's a popular thing that you don't like. Like when something's popular and somebody doesn't like it, they just call it overrated. Or they, I don't think that's what's happening with Arc Raiders. It's a social experiment that, like my nephews, they're not on social media, they're not on Twitter, and they had heard about it, and they tried it out on my PlayStations together while I was up there, and they loved it. They got hooked almost immediately. And so I don't think you can attribute it to social media. Did social media and the streamer events and streamer culture help Arc Raiders? Yes. But I don't think you can be like, it was just overhyped by social media. Like, there's something organic happening with that game. Something organic happened with Fortnite in 2017 and 2018. Something organic happened with Helldivers 2. I don't think these things can be attributed to like, well, social media, people were really hyping it up. If the game was overrated and overhyped, then people would play it and they would quickly stop playing and leave. But the player numbers are so contrary to that. Watch Burnt Peanut play. His sessions are full PvP. Mine are not. I fully believe that my theory is correct. Others are now theorizing the same thing. I saw Luke Stevens trot out the exact same theory that I've been preaching for weeks. I saw somebody else with a video with the exact same theory that I've been preaching for weeks. They analyze your behavior. As long as you are not shooting other players, it will give you a propensity of friendly lobbies. How many weeks has the game been out? How many hours do I have in the game? My nephews were playing. They were going to different maps, and they were rarely having to worry about it. They were getting shot here and there. They were. But by and large, they were dealing and extracting with friendly people. They were playing on my account and Madam's account. I don't think it was overhyped. I think it will eventually level out around 200 to 300 on Steam, which is very, very healthy. Every game's going to level out. This is true. Every game's going to level out. But I don't think you can attribute the success of Arc Raiders to like overhyped on social media. I think that's just like such a very, very inadequate assessment of what happened with that game. It helped. It certainly put gas in the tank. But that game exploded before people were, running to Twitter to talk about how fun it was. It exploded before there were montages, before there was a streamer war, before Burt Peanut, got the bungalators all together. Like, that all happened after the game exploded. That would be like saying that Fortnite exploded because of Ninja. It's like the two are woven together. Ninja certainly helped Fortnite kind of have virality and high viewership. Like, he was kind of a perfect match for the brand and the identity of Fortnite. Like, he kind of fit it. But you would never attribute one to the other. Like, his success isn't just because of Fortnite. He was a very, very, very smart guy, and he was actually a grinder before that. I mean, he was a very big streamer and very successful streamer in PUBG and other games well before, in Halo, well before there was a Fortnite. Millions of YouTube videos claiming at the beginning of the year was so annoying. Like, we got it, you like it, don't mean you have to make your whole channel about it. My daughter is very proud. She decided to start playing Fortnite, and instead of playing the middle, like the silly, goofy games, she started playing the Battle Royale. And she has won 3 times against 80 other people. Now, I warned her that it's going to start to get more difficult because of that. But when we were packing up on Saturday to come home, I said, one more game. And she won. Like, I sat there and watched her. She won. It was intense. Like, my heart was pounding for her. It came down to one more shot, and she was done, and she won. It was fun to watch her play. She had 8 health left. Yeah. Who's giving you mighty arm emojis?
Yeah.
I don't know, kid. Nobody. It's me and Crack Baby right now. I don't know. Chat went hyper lurk in the last 20 minutes. She was crushing it. Yeah. So, yeah. I don't know what I was saying before that. I'm in the ceiling. Yeah, both platforms have just gone super quiet on me. I'm not sure because YouTube chat was acting really funky earlier, so I don't know if it's messing with people. But it's very dormant. I'm not sure if you guys are having technical difficulties or what. Like, I'm even saying this and I'm not getting a response. I don't know if chat's acting up. Yeah, Twitch seems normal. There's 66 folks hanging out. There's a couple people chatting. YouTube a couple of times today I felt like it's like glitched out. It was doing that before I left too. It would do like the disconnect reconnect thing. We here? Okay. Twitch was being dumb. It kept kicking me out and deleting my messages. Yeah, I don't know. Twitch seems fine now. Okay. So YouTube's just lurking. All right. We had that trouble last week where I kept getting disconnected from the chat and I wasn't sure if it was happening again. Okay. I had other segments planned. I'm be honest with you. I think we can save them. We've gone 2 hours and 40 minutes. We've had a perfectly good day back. Haseo is going to gift another one. We got 5 minutes left on the discount of gifted member bundles on Purple. I think once that timer hits 0, I think I might call it. Because I've got some good segments and some good videos to react to, but we don't need to do them today. There's no timeliness with them, and having a video that's all about Destiny generally is a good thing. Like it helps. Yeah, it's better sometimes to do that, to not force the issue. Sal's gonna gift a member, and so is Haseo, and gonna get us a 211. Thank you, boys. Appreciate it very, very much. I have book club tonight. Green room now is the call. Yeah, sometimes I like doing that. We did that before I left, and I really enjoyed. We got good feedback, by the way. Some people left some comments, and they said that they really liked the format on that Friday before I left, where we had like multiple segments. Today was just so much about Destiny. I don't necessarily think we need to do those other segments. I think we could do those on a day like tomorrow. If tomorrow ends up being more variety, those segments would make more sense. So I can save them. Messages can't be sent. It kept telling me that it wouldn't let me back in the channel. Had to close the app. That's really weird. Yo, Brains84 with a Prime. Welcome back in. Thank you very, very much. Getting us to 212. What time? What time what? It's an expansion teaser, and he says, Jez says yes, but also more. And Jason Schreier is saying that it is not for a Diablo 4 expansion. He won't say what it is for now, but it's a good one. So Schreier says, no idea where Jez is getting that, but this statue is not teasing the Diablo 4 expansion. I don't currently plan on reporting what it is. Sorry, but it's a good one. What time are you streaming tomorrow? Same time every day around 9 a.m. Eastern. We do an hour of morning coffee, and then we start the official show around 10. So, all right, Twitch. If you're going to cash in on this discount that they're running, there's 4 minutes left. My timer's off. The timer on Twitch is probably wrong. It's probably about 2 minutes left. You got 2 minutes left. I can't go to Green Room on my Gov computer. People releasing government information on Discord. Oh, yeah. We would like to do Green Room on YouTube, but YouTube made members' content so bad. Even morning coffee now, it's a member stream for like an hour, and then we just unlist it because it was just hurting us. So until they fix that, that's just kind of the way we have to do it. So, and there are people that do enjoy having Green Room in the Discord because it's a little bit more like a conference call with no latency as opposed to a stream. I much prefer the new insider meta of not spoiling. I agree. I think some of the companies actually found the leaks as well. I do. I think they found some of the leaks. And so I think you're just going to have less frequency with that. You're just going to have less often like, hey, there's a big show today. And people are like, this is going to be there and this is going to be there. I think that is going to be less common going forward. I think they close a lot of the leaks. Been a great stream. Learned a lot. I was unsure about. Hey, I appreciate it, man. Yo, what's good, Byron? How are you? The Returnal on Xbox was a little fishy. Did Schreier claim that, though? The Returnal on Xbox one was... I can't even remember. I don't think that was from Schreier or Grubb or Tom Henderson or Shinobi. Like, if it doesn't come from one of those guys, I'm like, oh, we'll see. We'll see. Just save the receipts. You think it was leak testing? Oh, you think Returnal on Xbox was leak testing? Maybe. Tom Henderson said the PlayStation especially is making it harder for leaks to get out. So, just save receipts. A lot of claims out there, and when they don't happen, I think it's fair to be like, what's a batting average for a given person? Like, that's why I trust Insider Gaming, Tom Henderson, Ecstasis, Kepler, Grubb, Schreier. Like, they've got really good batting average. Now they'll have things that end up maybe not happening or maybe timeline shift and stuff. But like generally, those guys have really good batting averages. So it makes them, I think, very reliable. So, okay, here's what we're going to do. An amazing day back. Thank you guys for the just immense amount of support today, coming back from a break. And Friday night stream seems to be well in hand. If this hits 500, we'll do a Friday night stream. All incentives this week will have to be for Friday night. So we'll have to think of some fun things to do with you guys, with Madam. Maybe we can brainstorm in Green Room, because you guys went crazy today without, I don't even have an incentive necessarily for Friday night. I will not be able to do a Saturday stream this week. We'll be getting a bunch of stuff ready. We have like a Christmas party on Sunday that we do every year. And so Saturday evening, I'm not going to be able to do a stream. So we'll have to do a bunch of fun incentives for Friday night, which I'm sure we can come up with some fun things in Green Room. So, yeah. So if you're not in the Discord already, and you are a member on YouTube or a sub on Twitch, use the Discord command, !Discord, and get in there, because that's where we do the Green Room now, okay? And there should be an upload this evening. I don't know what it will be about. I've got a couple in the hopper. I did one on Steam Machine pricing, where I kind of walk through the various potential audiences that will buy it, and what price will probably do as a factor there. And yeah, that'll probably hit this evening around 4 or 5. So be on the lookout for that on YouTube. It's a great reason to be subbed to YouTube with notifications turned on, because there is content that hits the channel that doesn't always take place in the live stream. So, yeah. All right, guys, hit like on the way out on YouTube. We are super close to 300 likes. That'd be a great milestone to hit at the end of the stream. And then head over to the Discord for the Green Room. Thanks for all that you guys do. And if I don't see you in the Green Room, we will see you tomorrow. All right, take care.